What's happening, everybody? What's happening, Brian, Flute, Virgil, Ron, just Jacob? Who all's in here? I know we got a fake dirty account. It's the first one to post. I bet that fake dirty account drives a Miata. Just saying. Who else? And Brett was in here. Don't know if he's still in here or not. I guess about it. That's all that's showing their faces for right now, anyway. And we'll see who else drops in here in a minute. There's Drew. What's up, Drew? Hope you're doing well, man. As y'all can see, we've got Jesse in the house tonight, and we're going to talk with him. He's made a very similar transition into service industries, much like myself. You know, he's a true lawn star that more of a, you know, he was a professional in the schools and cemetery mowing, and decided to venture on out to other things, regroup himself, and now he's doing a whole lot of pressure washing. And I thought it'd be great to get him in here, since there are a good bit from the pressure wash crew that check this out. I hope it doesn't put Virgil to sleep, but if it does, fuck him. I don't care anyway. Yeah. Jesse, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. I appreciate that. I appreciate you having me on. When you texted me last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I was like, oh, fucking great. Love it.
Yeah, it's good to have you, man. It's good to see you back on the screen too, man. It's you know,
well, to be honest, like I made a lot of mistakes, got in my own way, went down a path I shouldn't have been going down, but look at maybe, you know, we'll hear in a little bit, but I didn't have fun anymore. YouTube was boring. Everybody had jumped over to everybody had their own private little fucking thing every night, and it was just like,
yeah,
it wasn't fun no more. And I was making the same content. I was, you know, and then my second kid was born last year, and I was like, I just had like a weird, but then again, now it's like, I'm not going to rob my, how much would you pay? I can't remember who I heard. Patrick David. I heard Patrick David talking. How much would you pay to see or read the journals of your grandparents, of your great grandparents? How much would you do?
Not to stop you for a second, my grandfather wrote in a diary every day from the day he was 18 till about 3 days before he died.
That's awesome. See,
it's littered with information.
Right. See, and I got like a journal that I'm in and out of all the time, but the vlogs are something a little bit different. You can see the passion, you see the emotion, you see the struggle, you hear it. Even if someone doesn't say what they're going through, you can feel it. You can feel it. And that's another thing I was talking about earlier I was talking to my phone, making a video. Like, if you're a business owner, if you're a small business owner, just a startup, and you're not making content, you become the authority when you're making videos. It's silly. It's silly to think that you're not going to make videos because you're not talking to a camera. You're talking to Virgil. You're talking to Jacob on the phone. But it's just, you can feel it. Now, if your clients see it, they get a peek behind the system. They kind of like you. They feel it. I watch some guys on YouTube every day, even Ray. I'll watch Ray all the time, not because I give a fuck what Ray's doing, because I like listening to him talk. I like to see what, you know what I mean? I like to see, he's become part of my just routine. I like, what the fuck is Ray up to nowadays? You know what I mean? Every day I get to check in and see what he's going on. That's awesome.
Is Bo back?
Right.
Or is there a new Bo?
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we go through it. We do that too, or I do, run through and check everybody out and see what's going on. And I was the same, you know. For a while, it fell flat, you know. But I always wanted to get back into this, and
this exactly. The interviews is something I love.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, it's really, I have to, whether I like them, I don't like them, whether I like their videos or I don't like their videos, or something, you know, some gray line in between it all. You have to applaud these guys that upload daily, man. It takes a lot.
Yeah.
And I just don't have the time.
Well, the thing is, whenever I was first, whenever I was first starting my YouTube channel, the same time I was starting my business, it was like it posting daily content almost is I posted a lot when I first started. Of a video almost every day.
Yeah.
And it was it kind of held me to an account like, oh shit, I need to get out there and go get some work because I need some video content. Like, and that's not the way to look at it necessarily, but it was kind of a way to help push my business, help push me further along. Cause if I was messing up, I got guys that are holding my feet to the fire, whether they
Right.
know it or not. So it's just like it was a cool experience. So like I'm super happy. I'm excited to be making videos again. Not necessarily because it's a new washing system, whatever. It's just it seems to work good with what our app, where what I'm doing. It's just working
Right.
great. I'm enjoying it.
So how far or how long have you been doing this now? Just the washing? How long?
Pretty much. But last year, kind of like I went official. Well, this year I said no. I don't care. Like I got a buddy of mine that I like. He just ain't got a mower and he's got a small little yard. So I like help him out, but I charge him like $50 for nothing. So,
Yeah.
and I told him, I said, you're gonna keep getting charged, and if you don't do it by the time 3 weeks, I'm gonna charge you $75 just so you get your own mower because I don't want to mow grass no more. So this year and kind of last year, I just went, I'm not mowing grass no more, and it's not nothing against whatever. It's just where it works with my schedule. It just I got tired of being 90 degrees and killing myself. I really like washing houses. It's easy.
Yeah.
I want to make easy money. I want to make a lot of easy money. That's me personally. What I want to do.
It's a whole lot easier to do, you know. And like you said, I applaud the guys that do the lawn care too, because that's one of the biggest reasons that I mean, I got away from it just because it just after a while when you look around, it makes nowhere near the money landscaping does. It's a good cash flow in the
Right.
beginning. And
Right.
I
Well,
mean, there
because
are guys
you're
that
at
make
someone's. Go
good
ahead.
money at it, but um it's just all the upkeep, and I never liked it when I was doing it personally in the beginning because it just I mean, you come home nasty, dirty, beat the hell, and it just
Yeah,
wasn't my cup of
and
tea.
the only reason why I started it is not because I loved mowing grass and that was my passion or my dream. It wasn't. It was okay. I was working at a factory. Jesse Michael was still like 2 or 3 at the time, and a buddy of mine, Connor, um, he said, "Hey, you want to mow? I'm sick of mowing this guy's yard. You want to make $20? You want this yard? $20 a week? I'll give it to you." I was fuck. I've been mowing grass since I was a kid. I don't know how to do that. I'm good. Well, I should have been charging like
Blindfolded.
40 for it, but that's how it all started. Not because I loved it, not because I was it's just because I wanted the money from it. That was the only thing. And I thought it was going to be easier. And I looked at it, I said, if I can make $100 a day, this is what I said to myself. If I can just do this 5 times 5, make $100 a day, scale that out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be rich. Well, business don't work like that, but it was a good step to learning that I
Right.
can make my own money.
And, and that's another thing, you know, it's on the washing, the profit margins are nuts. And I think that's what a lot of people, um, that don't wash don't get because and I'll see a lot of this. I was talking with Virgil, was it you and Brian that I was talking about this with the other day? That you know, you see a lot right now in lawn land of, you know, $1,000 a day, $1,200 a day, $1,400 a day, you know, and it's like good for you, number one. I mean, it not and I don't care what you're doing, you know, to make that much if you could do it consistently and daily, you're probably doing pretty good. But the thing is, you know, that's the gross. It's like, okay, but you bought 20 yards of mulch and you all the gas, the time, the back end of the business overhead and all that stuff. And you also had 3 employees out there and you got to pay yourself. So, and then there's taxes. And it's like, by the end of the day, it's like, okay, you made $400. Where pressure washing, it might have cost you $60 to get that money.
Yeah, maybe that's
Literally $60 out the door, done.
yeah.
And insurance liability, you know, workman's comp if you have to carry it on commercial sites and gas, fuel, chemicals, it And even, just say it costs you $200 because you're going to take $150 a day or something to, your repurchase fund for new, machines and things like that. The profit margin is insane.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. That's why, it was a no brainer for it. I would always like cleaning decks. I was randomly like doing certain little house washes here and there already, and I just had kind of did it as like a, I don't know, like an not necessarily like an add on, but it was just July, August, or date mowing. Just go wash a deck and stain it or whatever. Make some extra money. Oh, cool. This is easy. I didn't
Yeah.
realize. I didn't realize how much it was. How you started kind of getting into it. Found some other videos. I'm like,
Cruz Bowman's, what's up?
It just made sense.
Yeah, it does. And it's like, there's a guy, he was doing some videos. I think he might have even been on Jason Guyman's show at some point, if I remember correctly. I know he's been out there and about it, but I haven't seen him in a while. And you probably don't need to. But all he did was surface cleaning and was crushing it.
Yeah.
Didn't wash a house, never bothered to, not driveways. That's all he wanted to do, driveways, and was killing it.
That's awesome. Great. I love it.
Yeah, it's nice to see people, no matter what service industry you're in, just fine tune yourself. A lot of people like to see how broad they can get that
Well,
fork in
that's
the road.
here. I want to speak on that too, because there's that quote that everybody knows: "The jack of all trades, master of none." Whatever. That's your business acumen kind of speaking out versus someone like me who had very little knowledge. So now that I have a little more business acumen rather, is I can see finding a niche, blue ocean strategy, blow it up, get in there. But like, it's just your natural mindset of thinking, well, if I can do everything, then I'm going to make all this money. You don't realize how much money you're losing by going over and mowing. Yeah, you might mow that yard and you might make $120 by every week you over there. But what happens at the time that you miss a phone call for a $600 house wash? That's 3,200 square foot home, or they want a house wash, roof wash, and dry. They want the whole thing, and you're looking at a $1,500 day, dude. Like now it's kind of like, whoa, where am I at here? Was it worth me going and mowing this? Yeah, I'm getting $40 a week every week, but it's like at the same time, it just matters where your business mindset is at during certain times. If you're capable of sitting around, putting a little heavier marketing in, realizing who your customers are, who your clients are, and who they're not. I didn't know that for the longest time. I don't care if you lived in a mansion or if you lived in a trailer park, I was going to mow your grass. And the way I looked at it on a lot of things is I looked everywhere. I said, all these motherfuckers got my money. That's how I looked at everybody whenever I went into business for myself and I quit.
When you first start out, I don't care who you are and how much money you've got. You could have, I don't know, $100,000 to throw into a business to start it. And you could have 10 years of experience working with, maybe even in management at another company. And you could have, some sort of nice turf or hort degree, hanging on the wall. And I don't care. When you first start, you're going to take everything that comes your way.
Right. And it
you
makes
have
sense.
to. You've got to turn dollars. But after that, and after you've settled in for a few months, maybe sometimes a season or two, especially those of you up there in the frozen tundras that are seasonal, your shit stops in November. Might take you a couple of seasons, but you start to fine tune things in, man. And getting rid of the clients you don't want anymore for whatever reason.
Yeah. And that was a hard lesson I had to learn. It's just letting people go, getting walked over. And I allowed a lot of nonsense to happen, but that's okay. It was a learning experience, if you will.
But that's it. It was a learning experience. Some people don't learn. They'll go back out there and do the same shit all over again if they ever do anything again. In period.
Well, and it's hard to do it, but once you get get used to being uncomfortable and having uncomfortable conversations of saying, like I just sent a text message out today, and this is something I wouldn't have done before. I raised my prices $20. So instead of like 300, now it's 325 for a regular 2-story house wash in a certain neighborhood, and I want to get it to 400. That's my goal. Kind of, I'm still working on myself, and I think they'll pay it. But I just said, hey, Mr. Jones, let's just call him Joe. I said, hey, Mr. Jones, I don't know if you're still on tour. He's like in a Christian rock band, got a cool thing. He's got a cool story. So I wanted to kind of touch on his whatever. I said, hey, I don't know if you're still on tour. I'll be working in your neighborhood this weekend. You want me to put you on the books for your annual house wash? What I normally would have said, hey, do you want me to come wash your house again this year? Now,
Right.
what I did by saying for your annual house wash is saying, he's thinking, well, do I have to get my house washed every year? Is it, I'm just kind of trying to like word things in a little bit different way, because in my market, house washers, pressure washing companies everywhere, which is awesome because everybody knows you're going to get your house washed. I love seeing all the yard signs everywhere. I'm not a big yard sign guy, and that's something me and you talked about last week. And I didn't go forward with the yard signs because you look at the yard sign, different phone number, different phone number, different phone number. But everybody sees house wash, pressure wash, power wash, gutter cleaning. So if people in my neighborhood and people in my market, they know just get your house washed. It's just the way it is. I said,
Yeah.
hey, your annual house wash. So he hasn't texted me back, but I'm gonna send him a message again tomorrow.
Keep hitting him, because that's
yeah.
also you're making, psychologically, it's a good thing because you've already convinced him that he's going to buy. You've already said it for him. You're not saying, hey, do you want,
Right.
or you're not trying to close him on anything. That's an automatic close, and there's shit that I've done before. I do this a lot with the pressure washing, and I used to do it a lot with with lawn care years ago. It's where I picked it up from. Is I would just like mulch flowers, things like that. I never asked anybody if they wanted them. At the beginning of the year, I would either call, send out an email, or whatever, and tell them you're on the books for this week of this month.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Yeah.
Basically,
Okay,
and here's here's the theme, here's the colors, here's the price. You're on for the week of May 20th through the 25th, and I was never told no. There might have been a couple that I can't remember. There probably is, but 99% of them were just okay. Do you want me to send the check now, or do you want to get paid when you're done, or
right.
It just, and I do it all the time with pressure washing now. It's like, okay, I've got you on the books for this week or this 2-week time frame is what I do, because it's a lot. Weather can fuck with you just like it does with lawn care. But the great thing about it is it's not as bad as when it rains. We're doing lawn care. You just kind of back things up a little bit. So I give everybody this 2-week window, and I say, all right, you're in this time frame. And everybody's like, all right, thanks for letting me know.
Right. Yeah. And it's awesome. And that's where I want to get to. That's my goal on getting there. And I'm excited to do it. I've been listening to a lot of different, like my live a couple of days ago. We talked about like different sales practice. And that's something, like you said, don't have a pitch. And that was really good point, because I was kind of psychologically psyching myself out. But I'm just kind of coming at it now as, okay, I'm just going to deliver direct, straightforward messages. I had a phone call the other day. Hey, how much do you charge for that? And instead of me, I would have normally been like, well, I'd like to come see it. It's kind of dancing around. I said, bam, 18 to 20 cents a square foot is normally where I'm at.
Yeah.
What size is your home? Blah, blah, blah. Just directly to the point, because they know it's, at the end of the day, the uncomfortable part is going to be money. Okay. And that's something that I never liked talking about, because I wasn't confident. I would never, ever pay someone. No, let's say this is a 1,500 square foot. I would never pay someone $275 to come wash my house. No, not going to happen. But I'm not my ideal client. You know what I mean? And I looked at it as the labor part of it. And it's not the labor aspect of it. It's the time aspect. So that's something that I've kind of been real direct with. Let's have that uncomfortable conversation right now. This is what it is, you know. And there's some other sales guys I've been listening to here and there, and they're real direct with it. They like they're talking about, hey, I have two types of clients. Which one are you? You know, and you're kind of boxing them in. You're playing their ego. It's a little bit different. Like we can have the cheaper conversation, or are you the, you know, ex client who wants it done efficient, wants it done now, needs it, you know, there's, you know what I'm talking about. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet with my confidence, but I will be. And that's the way I'm going to be able to close them soon. I'm already, you know, it's the way sell it, be sold. With Grant Cardone book,
See,
which I'm not a
and I
big
think
Grant Cardone fan, but
that's where I think I differ from a lot of people. I respect these people and what they do, but I think their sales approaches, and it's what I tell some people, you know, in my personal world a lot, is you have to remember that people like Grant Cardone
oh yeah,
and all of them, names are escaping me right now, but Rich Dad Poor Dad Dude and all them,
Kiyosaki,
yeah, they made the bulk of their money off of telling you how to make money, not making money. They
right,
made the bulk of their money on telling you how to make money.
right. The gold miners,
Remember that.
yeah,
A lot of these strategies, especially when you're talking about higher end clientele, you try this high pressure close tactics on them, they'll
right,
shit you right out the lawn. They'll tell you to
right.
go on.
Yeah, and that's something I'm still trying to kind of learn, and it's exciting, it's fun, it's different, but I know it's a whole lot better. Where I'm at right now is a whole lot better mindset versus being like, well, I don't
The
know.
best mindset to have is to
Ah.
walk around, be professional, talk to them, get to know them, dive in their personal shit a little bit, find something that you have in common, talk about that a little bit, give them a price, and shut the fuck up.
Right. The shutting the fuck up part, that's where I have had struggled, all of it with the shutting the fuck up part.
Yeah.
And that's because my own you know, my own shit, my own stupid head. And that's okay because I can, you know, hey, move it on. Fuck that one up, move on. You know what I mean?
It's great
Do
to have
better.
a good 10, 15-minute conversation with them. People eat that shit up, especially people with a lot of money that it- that don't have to be anywhere. You know what I mean? They have enough money where they're 45, 55, 65 years old. They ain't working. Their money's working for them. They've, you know, it's like around here, most of my clientele, they're in multi-million dollar homes, and some of them between 10 and 20 million dollars. And it's their second or third home.
Yeah.
Now imagine the main house. These people got nothing better to do than to talk to you. And if they've got something hanging out, they love it when they see, you know, the service guy or whatever that can talk European cars to them, or, you know, can talk golf. I can't talk golf. Yeah, I can make jokes about golf, and that usually gets me somewhere. But at, just find something in common with them. That's I do my best, and with lawn care, well, landscaping. Now, my number one thing is to get in their garage. I think I've mentioned this before in a live way back. I'll ask them about the irrigation system. If they say, yeah, I'll say, let me check the clock real quick just to see what you have. You may need to upgrade, you know, maybe best to do that while we're doing this, because now we've got Bluetooth, and, you know, you can run it from your house. I can run it from freaking Japan, you know? And if you called me and needed something. So they're like, oh, okay. You know, they'll open up the door. I don't give a shit about that irrigation clock. I want to see what they're driving.
That's brilliant. Yeah. That's
But
really good.
if it's a guy, I want to see what he's driving, because if we can talk cars, I got the job.
Yeah. That's finding, yeah, that's a good idea. Finding something that you can kind of relate on. Everybody, it's it's hard to hire someone that you don't connect with or don't feel some sort of, you know, whatever, you know. That's yeah, I agree with you.
And and the big thing, like with women, talk colors, talk flowers. You know, I say the word flower so many times that I sound like a broken record when the main focus is the woman. And and I never ask for a sale. I think that's a good way of asking for a sale, is they recognize your confidence of not having to sell them.
Mm,
I could be wrong. I don't know because
No,
I don't analyze myself. I just, here it is. Here's my cost. What's your budget? And a lot of people, I get that a lot. People will, when I ask what their budget is, because they're like, that's when they think they're in the car dealership. It's like, is this guy going to take me for a ride? Why do I want to tell you my budget?
right.
And
Yeah, that's
but
good.
I tell people, I'm like, look, if you're only looking for a $10,000, rehab, and I go drawing up a $40,000 to $50,000 job, yeah, it's not the drawing it up doesn't bother me. But when I hand you a $50,000 bill, you're gonna lose your shit.
Right. And yeah, exactly.
And I'm gonna have to backtrack, because you're gonna go, but I only wanted 10 shrubs and 4 trees and landscape lighting and my irrigation redone out front. Yeah, oh,
right. And that's kind of what, and you put it in a way better way of me saying like, there's two conversations that we can have, that when I went back to that positioning is another really good book. If anybody's wanting to, but yeah, what you just said was, well, brilliant. Find out what their budget is. That'll tell you right then and there what you need to do. Now, you don't have to say it in the Grant Cardone way of being a big bad Uncle G tough guy, but no, you deliver it like how you delivered it. That way, you're not wasting time. Your time's valuable. Their time is valuable.
yeah. And the thing, you can kind of control a conversation and be the G without trying to be the G, trying being the key word, you know. And the tough guy shit, these people don't give a crap
Oh,
about that. And
it works good
and
on the
people,
internet.
it works good on the internet. You try, like I said, you try this stuff with people that actually have money, they'll laugh you off their lot, man. And it's a joke. But there are tactics that work, and everything's different for everybody. I think that's why I never just try to close anything, and I never try to preach on how to do, because how I do things and how you do things, because our personalities are different, should be totally different.
I agree with that.
It's just all about being yourself and being confident. That's all that matters. All that matters at the end of the day.
And that's the hard part to get it. See, me personally, I felt like I I wanted to have a 12-volt system. Was I necessarily needing it right now? Should I have sold a few jobs before I put my softball system in? Yes. That's the way I should have took. But for me to feel more confident and to sell better, that's how I felt like. That's just me. That's it. And that's what I do. It's not a very expensive system. I built it on the cheap, did it all myself. But that's another thing. So find what you need to boost your confidence, if you will, if that makes any sense. That could be bad advice. I don't know. I'm an average idiot just out here doing my thing, trying to get off the rat or getting out of the rat race. That's it.
And we all are, though, man. We all are. We all want to think that, we we want to procure and to nurture our egos, man. Um,
Yeah,
and
I have a fragile ego. So if any of you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons, y'all know what it is. And check out the link,
yeah,
subscribe to my
feeding the
channel,
man's.
run my playlist. Let's get monetized. All right. So it's a shameless plug. Sorry.
Well, let me ask you this, man. How's life with 2 kids?
Bro. Okay. I always said I wanted 4 kids. You know. So if you have a favorite, they won't really know and it kind of blend in. All right. What I didn't take into effect is we're gonna have an adult conversation real quick. So any kids out there, plug yours. All right. The sex life has changed dramatically from 1 to 2 children. A lot. Okay, so that's one thing. Love the second kid. He's almost walking. Waylon, he's great. He looks just like me, which is weird because when Jesse Michael was born, everybody says, "Oh my God, he looks just like Kayla, just like Kayla. He looks just like them Yates boys, just like them Yates boys." And I'm like, sitting there thinking, "Yeah, it's awesome." So I said, and I'm thinking in my head, "Look, now Waylon's born, looks just like me, so we're identical twins. So he's automatically the favorite now, so which is
Right.
great. But I'll have a little landscaping crew ready to go here in a few years. Jesse Michael's he's at that fun age. he's at that really fun age to where it's like he knows stuff and he's learning stuff and he says
Yeah.
stuff and he's got his little attitude and personality, so which is awesome. He's not he's a good big brother, but he's rough. So I know Waylon's gonna be tough, which is a blessing. I never there's certain things that able to offer now, time being one of them as a father, that where I never had, grandparents. I never understood the power when Jesse Michael. Listen, my father-in-law, he's a tough Marine Corps son of a bitch. You don't ask for help. He big beard, like 6'1", 6'2", 300, this big fucker. Big, beer drinking, redneck Kentucky boy. Awesome. But what intimidates the shit out of me melts him. And I've never seen a 4-year-old be able to take down a big Marine Corps vet. These things that I never saw the power of grandparents. Never I had the utility of having a father in the home, and how the way he's learning is way more than I ever knew at that age. So which is great. I truly love it, and that's kind of
there's a pool of people to learn from.
Right, which is awesome. So I'm excited. I do want to have a little girl. That's kind of like that's what I want now is have a girl, and then hopefully we kind of be done.
Let me tell you something, man. If you wind up with a girl, I'm just going to tell you now. Hold on, because they're going to take you for a ride.
Right,
man, girls are a trip, dude. Oh my God, I'd have never guessed in a million years. But let me address Linton right here real quick. It says, I gained 3 corner homes by mowing them and pretending I was at the wrong house.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
I've heard this little trick has been around for a while. I personally haven't done it, but I had a friend of mine when he started out. He'd been in business, I don't know, year, maybe a little bit less. We started about the same time. And he was kind of stuck, and he was just trying to get over the hump so that he could hire a couple of guys and just put a crew out there, and basically, he'd run around, sell jobs, get jobs, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, man, I just need a little bit more. And he came up with the idea. He called me one. He's like, dude, I'm just going to randomly start cutting houses. I'm going to just start doing the neighbors' houses. And I'm like, you got to be out of your mind. It worked. He got almost everyone that he did. He got them. He'd be like, oh shit, sorry, wrong house. Whatever, my bad.
I love it.
Yeah,
because
sorry.
In the beginning, you have ambition. Wait, where's my thumb at? Where's my thumb? There we go. We have ambition. I couldn't do it with my left hand. We have ambition and we have time. And the thing is, we want to go get that money. So what's the best way to do it? Ain't no one trusts the new guy. Everybody sees the turnover rate. Everybody churns in and out of these low barrier to entry service fields, whether it's pressure washing, lawn and thing with lawn care. Everybody's been mowing their own grass since they was a kid, so everybody thinks that they can do it. So I hate the term chucking a truck. Fucking hate it, but I understand it. So what Linton did right there, I love it. Big thumbs up. We see that churn rate, but if you can see Mrs. Jones from down the street, it's got a nice corner lot. Hey, this kid just did a great job. And, he can't be just a random chucking a truck, because look at the stripes he's laying down. Look at that professional edge. Look at him taking time blowing off my sidewalk. Just having a blower. When I was first getting started, I had this sort of junky Murray blower bought for, I don't know, $15 at a Facebook Marketplace. Just by just little junky accounts that I had and blowing off the sidewalks. People had never had. They hired the guy to do X, Y, and Z, but they never was able to get the guy to here, got a balloon. Never able to get the guy to actually blow the sidewalks off. So that was a big selling point for me when I was growing my $20 lawn cutting business at the time in the first couple months. But it was, it's good money for me at the time. $100 a day. It's all I was shooting for.
And and it's funny when you have less responsibility, like you obviously did when you first started. I mean, you had a woman and a kid, but I
owned my trailer. All I had to pay was lot rent. Like my trucks were paid off. Like it was,
it's real. It's much easier. I know when I was surprised at how long it took me to kind of mature this pressure washing and stuff. But there was twofold. I was constantly and still constantly have to nurture the landscaping end of it. I was about to reach back and show my list, but I'm down here in the office downstairs because the internet. We've got somebody coming out tomorrow to look at it. Our internet sucks. You go upstairs and it's just gone to hell in a handbasket.
Right.
But anyway, so I've got to go back and forth and make sure Michael and the guys are doing their shit and doing it right, and which is I shouldn't say that. I just go check, and Mike likes me to check in just to make sure nothing's fucked up. So there's that. But the bigger factor is all the responsibility I have now, because in the beginning, to go do the houses or go market for the houses in whatever fashion, or solicit somehow, some way, I was giving up time, which is basically somewhat taking away money from the landscaping, and that's interrupting income and cash flow into the
Right.
house, and that's a different ball game when there's a kid in college, two in the house. There's one, two, three car payments,
Yeah.
you know, and and doing a ungodly number for renovating this house. It's like, oh my God, man.
It can be, it can
It's
be overwhelming, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like you really there's times I look back and like I've said before, I may even, we were talking before we went live about the new equipment and stuff, and there's still a really good chance that I shut it down by the end of the summer.
Yeah, I hate when you say that, just because, like, the way that you blew that business up, and yeah, but the thing is, you're like you said, you got you and your but I can't remember his name offhand.
Costa.
You and Costas, yes. You guys got your project that you're working on. When do you plan on moving up there? Like, what's going on
It'll
with
be a
that?
while before I move up there. It'll probably be a few years at the least before we're up there full time anyway. Because that's my dilemma. I I'm gonna one of the two is gonna leave very soon, and that's either the landscaping or the pressure washing. Here's the appealing part about the pressure washing is that I've got a large enough routine regular client list now
Sell
that
that. Sell it.
it, I would never sell it. What I would do is I just keep doing it.
Okay.
And I wouldn't worry about the landscaping anymore. That's hard for me to do though, because I'm a very creative person. That's my drive is to I come totally at it from an artistic standpoint, not from a business standpoint. I
Right.
learned business. And thank God I had my father to lean on to learn business from, along with classes in college. But I'm 100% on the creative end of it, and that's what's up, Ben. How's it going? And that's where I come from. The pressure washing, it's kind of the same thing. I'm almost addicted to that stuff, to cleaning the houses. It's crazy, man.
Well,
I
not only just
love
that, is how you can plumb the systems up, how you can be more efficient with
there's
building.
there's a crazy science to it, but there's nothing better than getting that big paycheck within a couple of hours, and or less. I mean, it's like today I did one, two, three, four. We'll say five because that was a big ass driveway, and
That's awesome.
and the lowest ticket was $250.
Yeah.
And I was home at 4 and mowed my yard and cleaned my truck and had a good day. And that's hard to turn. And like I said, like we were talking earlier, it cost me from the back end of the business, from the insurance and everything I have to pay to make the doors be open, all the way forward to the products I have to buy to do it, cost me $60.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it. I was sitting out in the truck today, and I got a project I could have went and done. We have, weather, and I'm kind of pushing it off till tomorrow. but I was going through my truck and just moving the barrels around. I kind of took the Sawzall to the frame of my pressure washer, and that's something I didn't want to do because I wanted to sell the washer whenever, but I was like, I don't care. I don't want to put a skid down, takes up too much room. I like the frame it's on, it works, but Sawzall the top half of it off. Yeah, and I love the science and the weird applications you get behind it. And I've done a few guys I work with, or that's past few videos I have done their houses. And I just forget most people don't realize. I just think everybody knows how easy it is to wash house until I do
Right.
work for a few guys I work with. And like, oh my God, you see that? You see Bogart's house? Did you see you did Bogart's house? Man, you got a card? How much? And then when we start talking numbers, it gets a little bit different. That's where the haggling part. That's where the haggling part comes in. But
Right.
just to see their face, like, oh my God, how did you do it? Like, how'd you do that? How'd you do that with a garden hose? And I'm like, hey, it's just magic, bud. I don't know what to tell you. Well,
And it does.
dad.
It's a total, and not to take any away from the girls in this industry. There's actually girl in Charleston that, because I stopped doing any of the pressure washing down there. I started doing a bunch of it down there, and which is 40 to 50 minutes away. Just because I thought if I'm going to grow this and grow it big, I'm going to take on that business down there, which is easy for me to grab because I know everybody and I can grab every landscape client, blah, blah, blah. And this season I said, nope, I'm just going to keep it up here. And I'm fine. I don't care. And so, and I'm going to stick to me, myself, and I on it. It appears. So I'm just going to, again, I'm going to narrow the fork in the road. And, anyway, I found this chick. She's mid-20s and started a pressure wash business, does really good. I give everything to her down there now. I'm like, call Celeste,
That's awesome.
But anyway, it's a whole guy thing, all the gadgetry. I mean, it's like the mowers, for lawn care, but you can build these things. You're not just
I
building them
felt
and using
so
or
much.
buying them and using them.
Well,
And guys that it don't matter if they're millionaires or if they're, in the trailer park, they love to check out these damn pieces of equipment. And they're like,
it
wow,
feels good to go into Lowe's, and this is how. Look, this is where my ego's at. Anyway, I'm gonna put my low ego on blast. I felt cool going into Lowe's looking at the not the NPT, but the regular slip thread, the slip PVC stuff, where I don't need, hey, I know what I'm doing. I'm a pro. I
hey,
don't need none
Kate,
of that
hey, Ben.
NPT stuff. I don't need none of that threaded stuff. Old dad knows how to plumb some PVC up, and it's nothing, but it made me feel like I know what I'm doing because I felt like
Right.
a man goes into Lowe's, and that's my own ego playing with it. I was able to go around. I made a couple little wash wands, and I ordered one, but I made one better for a fraction of the price. That's kind of what it is. What it is doesn't matter, but y- you know, but just having fun with it.
It's fun because you can go down your own creative path. But Ben, sorry, I had to move downstairs because our internet, for some reason, it's not. Yeah, I was thinking it was my computer last week, and it's not. We're not getting any kind of service worth of shit, even with extenders upstairs. And so the company should be coming out, or we're going to switch to check and see what's going on. We're pretty sure we're going to have to switch because it's been a gradual thing. With who is it? I think we have HTC. Anyway, so I moved everything into the downstairs office, and here we are. No surfboards down here. But maybe
Not
I'll be
yet.
back up there next week. Kate, I hope you're doing well.
She's my favorite. Ben, you're my favorite too. Cage is my real favorite. I'm really proud of Lex and them guys out there getting their applicators license. Uh, the Acme Mowing is doing his thing, and I'm really happy for it.
Hey, Ben, did you see a certain video of your video? Not from the typicals, but from someone else. Just asking. You're welcome, Cage. Love you too, boo. It's nice and quiet, man. My mother-in-law's here taking care of the kids. She's
There
already
you
got
go.
them in bed. The wife, her best friend, they're running a marathon tomorrow. So her
That
best
ain't funny.
friend's coming down to run it with her. Her plane gets here at 10 o'clock. And she couldn't fly into Myrtle. She had to fly into Charleston. So Sarah had to drive down there and get them. So the house is all nice and quiet.
Something you ain't used to, is it?
No,
Yeah.
not even until like after midnight because Pierce refuses to go to bed. And it's usually about 11 o'clock. It's funny now for Mimi, my mother-in-law, he'll go to bed and he'll be out. For me and his mom,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
Yeah,
'Cause
Waylon's the same way with me. Like, I can where I work third shift, like, Kayla will go in there. Sometimes I stay up till around noon or 1, and she'll walk in there and be like, "Well," it'll be about 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Here's, Waylon. Waylon's gonna wake me up,
Ben, I'll text it to
7,
you.
7, 8 months old. What, dude, as soon as he lays down, like, I'll put his head on my chest or, like, rub his head on my beard, and he's out. He's done. He's out. He will not go to sleep for her, and I love it. I'm like, he's the worst alarm clock you could ever get.
Yeah. Well, Pierce, what he loves to do and his do thing, that kid's savvy, man. He's way different than most of the world, and I encourage it. I
Right.
nurture that. I want him to be that. But it's like I've given plenty of examples of crazy shit, but it's like yesterday we were talking about Liam, who is the son of Sarah's friend who's flying in. Her oldest is coming down with him. And I think they're on spring break up there. I don't know. They're up there in Ohio. But anyway, well, the weekend's coming. Maybe she just kept him out of school. Who knows? But anyway, he's 16, I think, much older than Pierce. But when we said Liam was coming, Pierce was like, "Oh, that's awesome. He likes Taco Bell." Pierce hasn't seen or heard about Liam for 2 years. He remembers that from when he was 2.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That Liam, somebody he's only seen twice, no, 1, 2, maybe 3 times in his life. He remembered the last time he was here that Liam liked Taco Bell because you could damn near walk to it from here, and Liam wanted to go to Taco Bell.
Makes sense.
But I was like, how in the fuck do you remember that? You were 2,
Yeah,
But
sometimes
anyway,
we think it's hard for them. Yeah, they're sponges, legit.
he comes downstairs every night because we always eat after we put them to bed. Most of the time, anyway, it's just easier. We sit down with them when they eat, but we eat after, and so that most of the time it's in peace and quiet. Well, he's gotten where now for the past a long time, shit, maybe over a year now. He'll hear the forks hitting the plates. He'll come downstairs. What you eating? What you got? Can I have a bite? And he'll touch the food. Can I have that piece right there?
Oh, he knows what he's doing.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Dude, I have to hide Reese cups. Like, this is something I never thought of when I was having kids. I never thought I'd find myself as a 33-year-old man hiding behind a freaking closet door, secretly, slowly opening up, wrapping Reese cups. I'm like, and then my kid's like a dog with a piece of cheese or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, God dang.
Yep, they're like,
yeah, chocolate, boom. And I'm like, ah, dang, dude, go away. You're not allowed to have chocolate. I'm stuffing my face, and it's just, it's a
like
trip.
a hound dog on a squirrel, man.
Yeah,
they're on
a
it.
trip.
They know what's going on. Pierce can usually tell what I'm up to by the amount of time I'm in certain spots. He'll be like, yeah, he must be getting ice cream. Let me go check that out. Or something to eat, or doing this or doing that. And, he just bebops in like, hey man, what's up? Like he doesn't want anything. And then he punches you in the face with, let me get some of that.
We'll give a pop. Yeah, give me that popsicle. I'll wake Jesse Michael. He'll be like taking a nap or something. I'll be like, hey, you want a popsicle? I can't get him up. He sleep through a tornado. He can sleep through an earthquake. Hey, you want a Reese cup? Hey, you want to go for a ride or something? Right, wide awake. But man, I'll be shaking him. Hey, wake up!
Oh yeah,
something's wrong with this kid. He I don't know.
Pierce is that way too. You could pick him up and slam him up against the wall. He wouldn't wake up.
Yeah, I don't know. It don't make no sense. But I say, hey man, I got a popsicle. Want it? Yeah. I'm like, how the fuck does that work? Okay,
Right.
whatever.
It's the other day I was trying to wake him up for something. It was the other night. And anyway, he rolled over after I was like, "Wake up, wake up!" I think he plays possum a good bit too, but he just literally rolls over and looks at me like this, and he goes, "Leave me alone."
God dang, yeah. All right.
I was like, "All right, I'm out."
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'm Jesse Michael's best friend. He's been saying that a lot lately. So I don't know. It makes me feel good, strokes my ego. And I'm like, I look at Caleb and be like, well, I mean, you're not his best friend. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. He's like, Dad, you're my best friend. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, float selective hearing. That's exactly what it is. Highly selective.
yeah, that's Waylon's.
So they get along well with each other.
The youngins, yeah.
Yeah.
Little one, the littlest one, like I said, he's 8 months old, and he tries to, he tries. He loves when Jesse Michael tries to play with him, but man, he's so rough. Too rough.
Well, hopefully they won't be like me and my brother. I know I was 16 or 17 because I was in high school and had a car. For some reason I remember that part of it. But anyway, I had come home and I forget even what happened, but my brother, who was maybe in 8th grade, something like that, he was like, "I'm telling mom when she gets home." And we were upstairs and we had this big, huge balcony on the upstairs. It's like the master bedroom was off on the other side of the house, and all the other bedrooms are on this side. This big balcony looked down over the whole fucking house through on the den, and the fireplace is off in the distance. And we were right there at the balcony stairway. And he goes, "I'm telling mom." And I was like, "Oh, I'll fix your ass." And I picked him up over my head and I dangled him over the balcony. And I said, "Go ahead and talk shit now and I'll drop you." He goes, "I'm telling."
Boom. No.
Yep. I'll let him go.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
And then he goes,
No.
"Now I'm really telling mom." He's crying his head
Oh,
out,
yeah.
because the sofa was directly below us. So it wasn't supposed to hurt, but his rib cage caught the arm of the sofa when he landed. So it hurt pretty bad.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Get the hell out of there.
yeah, he's crying. "I'm really telling mom now." I said, "You tell, I'll do it again."
Yeah.
He shut up because he knew that just
You
out
knew
of
you weren't playing the
spontaneity doing
games.
it. Yeah, now I will definitely, if I tried to do it again, it could be far worse. I could throw him towards the fireplace.
Yeah, I hope that, yes. I live in a single story home. No balconies. Get out here, goofball.
Well, he might throw him off the roof. You never know.
Yeah, that's not a far drop, but I
Or
don't want you
out
to
of a
have
tree.
I tried to. I guess when I was a kid, I still love Batman and Superman
too.
stuff. But remember that era in the early '90s and late '80s when everybody was like, who was the guy, the Superman? But they had the issue of kids jumping out windows and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I was one of them morons. But I took my mattress and I threw it outside, and I was looking down. Of course, I'm 3. I don't really remember. I kind of remember vague. I remember running on the roof, but my mom was like freaking out. I do, yeah. So that's one thing. I'm like, okay, I do remember these things. I love superheroes. I still follow a lot of the stuff. Okay, here's what I can't do as a parent. You're not gonna have
Right.
the good thing. The antenna, TV antenna things aren't around anymore. That's how I scale and get up there.
Oh yeah, climb up the pole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
We
that's
used to do that in my backyard at my parents' house because the garage was detached at the house we were living at the time, and we used to. I, man, I don't know if I was a genius for this or one of the dumbest sons of bitches alive, but I'll call myself one of the dumbest sons of bitches alive. I was trying to learn how to do a backflip.
Uh-oh.
And I couldn't quite get there, man. I'd almost break my neck. I'd come around or I'd pound, just bam, drill my knees into the ground. I was like, shit. And friend of mine, Scott, goes, "I bet you could do it if you try to start off on the roof."
Yeah.
I
No.
did that.
No. So you got around. You have an extra
I landed,
rotation
but
in there?
damn near killed myself. But the funny
Yeah.
thing is, then I learned how it was a low. it was a one. It's not like I'm dropping big. But it was a good 8-9 feet because it was a low kind of overhang that came down, extended off the roof a little bit,
Yeah.
and yeah, I kind of hurt myself a few times, but it became like a thing to do. And then not only was I doing it, but every other kid in the neighborhood was trying to do backflips off of the off of the back of our garage. And
So
it
yeah,
was,
I get to look forward to some of that with coming up then, and you too with your family around.
and then what was another thing? Oh, we used to take saplings that are like 3, maybe 5 years old. They're like 4 inches in diameter, maybe 16 feet tall. We go climb up to the top of them and we would bend them down slowly so that they would
Uh-oh.
just bend and not break. Because you take a pine tree, yank it, it's going to snap. And we'd let somebody else get on it and straddle it and let the fucker go. And we'd launch each other into the woods. Whoosh.
I like that.
And I mean, you would, whoever was on that limb would take the fuck off. I mean, you'd go through trees. The goal was to grab another tree so you didn't kill yourself.
How'd that work out?
Most of us succeeded because we're
Yeah.
still here.
Yeah. There's a few of them around somewhere licking windows, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's probably one or two that are licking the window for sure. But fortunately I'm not.
Well.
My brother talked me into jumping off the roof with an umbrella.
That's where he got the float dizzle come from.
Oh shit. Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
He thought he was floating. Steve thought he was Mary Poppins. That's how he got the name Float.
Yeah. He said, yeah, it broke my leg. Okay,
Yeah.
there it is.
I laughed, but we tried it with bed sheets,
Yeah. Yeah, I tried it with just a towel as a cape.
Man, and the funny thing is some kids are still around doing that today, but there's not many at all.
No, yeah. Well, no, yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's kind of, I hesitate with the tablets and I hesitate with all that just because, I don't know. It's a good thing, but it's dangerous, I guess. But it's not really dangerous. I didn't think it was dangerous then. We see
They're evil necessities now, man. They're very evil necessities.
Right. Just like there's in the city of Westwood here, the town of Westwood. I live in Ashland, Kentucky, little branch. The firehouse every night at 9:00, the alarm goes off every night. It's been happening for at least 30 years is what I can gather. Well, I got on the Facebook page, Westwood community Facebook page. I'm like, hey, why does the fire alarm go off every night at 9:00? And they said,
Kenny.
They said it's just for the time for you to come home. That was the answer. The most of the answers was it's time to come home. That's it. That's it. That was the biggest answer. The other one was an actual, I don't even know what the fucking actual answer was, maybe a test, maybe something. But they've been doing it since what I can gather, the early 80s, every night, 9:00, and that's what everybody says in there. That's time when the street lights come on, it's time to come home. That's the bell. You got to be home before.
That was our rule.
Yeah, before the fire alarm goes off, you got to be home. That's what everybody in the Facebook group said. I was like, huh, interesting. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. We rock the street light. Either that, or when two very close friends still to this day, when Brian and Scott got called in for dinner, their dad, which I learned how to do, I could do it really well too, but he could whistle and you could hear him through the whole neighborhood. And it's like if you hear his dad, they lived across the street from us. My parents were like, you just need to carry your butt home too, because we're probably about to eat ourselves. So that was the rule. If the street light came on or Mr. Woody whistled first, it's time to go home.
Yeah, good rules. Yeah, those are good days.
Yeah, it's like these kids. I throw them outside. It's like, y'all, there's literally 7 parks. There's a park at every block down this town. And then there's the big, huge park with the tennis courts, basketball courts, the marina. swings, this huge swing set, a whole workout track. It's like 20 acres at the end on the peninsula. I'm like, y'all get your asses out of this house. Pick one of the parks. Pick one. Go
Right.
get some stains on your damn knees. Get the hell out of my house.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing about Jesse Michael, where he's almost 5. He'll be starting baseball soon. I'm kind of still waiting for the T-ball coach to call or whatever. But like, we'll take him to, I'll take him to the hill, the family property Kayla's family has, or he'll go with his grandpa. And you just go, there's 20 acres of land, got 4-wheelers. I had him kind of shooting at the 22, little 22 cricket, little single
Yep.
shot 22, but he's just not really into that yet, you know. But yeah, we just take him out there and like he'll just be gone in the woods. And it's like, well, at first I was kind of like, oh God, I gotta keep an eye on him. But Kayla's dad was like, or father-in-law was like, dude, no, where's he gonna go? It's 20 acres here. He's not going.
Yeah.
Where's he's not gonna go anywhere. He's literally just behind a tree. You don't see him. Let him go. I'm like, okay. So we're just drinking.
And that's actually one of the bigger reasons for buying this property is just to go up there and let the kids go.
Yep.
Because right now, I mean, Pierce, we can't do that with, but Ellie, she's the bigger instrument. It's like, get on your damn scooter. Pick a block, go, get the hell out of here, be gone with your bad self. And now she does. Now she'll get home, she'll do a couple of chores, she'll walk one of the dogs, if not both of them, and go do something. Or there's literally a playground across the street. So it's not that hard for them, So
yeah, there's trouble to be found.
Yeah, there's the church across the street has a small playground. She's kind of outgrown it, but Pierce likes to go to the big park at the end at the marina down there, and so Mimi usually takes him when the weather's nice and they hang out there for a while.
How's your boy doing, the mechanic, the one that's into like cars and stuff?
He's doing pretty good, man. They just finished up spring break a couple of days ago. I think they're actually, let's see, they should be about wrapping up classes. And then I think he's going to do a Maymester at college. And then he goes, where is he going? He made up his mind, and I can't remember if he's going to Spain or if he's going to Costa Rica for a year to study abroad. So,
wow. And that's then like, what's he going to study? Like, is he still going to be like at a trade school type thing, or is it like a legit just college stuff?
No, this is for a business degree.
Okay.
So he's and when he comes back, he only has a few more courses that he'll probably wrap up the following semester, and he's done for college.
Dude,
he'll be out.
That dude is a stud. Wow. That dude's a stud. I remember that video you put out a few years ago when I think he's graduating high school or whatever, or maybe he's turning 18. I can't remember. But it was like, that's a great video. Awesome video. That still shot pictures that would just like go through that.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. See, that's something that's important. But getting back on the topic of YouTube and why we make videos and why we do the things we do, that video, he can take that video because it's forever in the ether. And I don't know, he can be old as shit. You can be long gone, but like that's
it's there.
That's what I'm saying. That's what the next few couple generations away is going to be like, oh, look at X, Y, and Z. And that's
thanks,
so
Ben.
awesome.
Yeah, he's about to wrap up, but he's once he does, I mean, he still wants to own a car shop, and he still wants to procure and restore old cars and motorcycles and things like that. So his next agenda is to either get paid / apprenticeship as well at the shop that he was at, or another one similar to it. Or maybe even go to a tech school for a little bit and, pick up he's learned to weld pretty good. He taught himself.
Yeah.
He's got motorcycle in the garage that, he tinkers around with.
He's TIG welding then.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's, he takes shit and turns it into, a bobber or,
that's awesome.
What am I trying to spit out? Like, track bikes and things like that. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah. When I was first learning to weld, I've always had somewhat of like a gift of gab if I kind of want something. Well, I go to this job interview and I'm not in a good part of my life, but I kind of cleaned up fairly well and I sold myself as a experienced welder, pretty much team lead at the time. I sold it for $18 an hour is what I, and this guy's like, oh man, I was going to be the plug and play system to what he needed to implement. Dude, I fucking got in there. I didn't know nothing about welding. I get in there and he goes, look, you got something I like. I don't know. I should fire you. But like, he just let me go to off and just practice MIG welding at the time. He just let me go practice MIG welding all like for 3 weeks straight, just building little
Yeah.
boxes, cutting them down, going over and learn how to run a brake press, going here and run the plasma cutter. At the time, I'd just been an assembler and a powder coater. That's all I ever done is powder coat. And I don't know. That's good. Learning on your own. That's the best way to do it.
I think so too. And yes, Andrew, I do. Had two, sold one. Sold a
BMW.
cafe racer recently. But matter of fact, I had the garage open today going because I got home around 4. I could have been home around 3:30ish or so. But there was a car accident out on the highway and it delayed me a little bit. But I opened up the garage door and I was like, do I crank up the motorcycle or do I cut the grass? I was like, I cut the grass, man. I was like, shit, I need to do
you're
this.
getting old. That's the thing is that you're getting old.
Yeah. Well, I just, we got company coming and stuff. I wanted shit to look right. So I was like, and I'm anal as shit about my front yard, man. And it's literally become, my sales piece and is slowly improves every couple of months. So as people drive by, people are, oh shit, yeah, that's your house. Yeah, I won't mind to look like that, So
That makes sense.
and I just moved a stone feature, as I call them, out front that I built. It looks like a cairn.
I'm gonna do something when you were building them water features out of stone and stuff a few years back, and you're showing all that. You took a lot of your you took a lot of your videos out, but I want to. Me and Kayla was kind of talking about that because we're gonna put some rock in and some mulch and stuff. And I was like, dude, it's funny that you kind of mentioned something because I was like, I know how to build, which I don't know how to build shit, but I seen your video, so now all of a sudden I know how to build that. You know what I mean? But I told her, I said, I know how to build like a cool little water feature thing, like a rock with a waterfall, which I've never done it, have no idea. I don't even have the masonry bits to do it, but I said I'm gonna do it now. That's something I'm gonna do later on this summer.
Nice.
I was like, yeah, I know how to do it. It was so I don't know. I don't even know why I said I know how to do it. I'm something you're sitting here thinking about that. Like, why did I say that? But
Man, water features are my favorite. And I only did I only did one last year. So far I've only done one this year, and that was more of a restoration than an addition than anything. And there was one last year that I really, really wanted to do. But I'm glad I didn't in the long run. That was just the water feature alone was somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000, which isn't too far off from ones I've done before, but that's getting up there for them. But the guy was mad that I wasn't done with my creative process in 2 weeks on it. And when I told them from go that it was going to take me at least a month, and he was almost out the gate hounding me. So how, what about this? What about that? And I was like, this guy's going to drive me nuts. And so, and right when I was, because I'd pulled Michael in because it wasn't, it was that plus the front and back landscape. It was easily approaching $100,000 ticket.
wow.
And so, which was big, but the guy was driving me batshit crazy. And
how do you handle that with the guy pestering?
I'll tell you to fuck off.
Even though it's that kind of big money, it's still...
I don't give a shit. There's no money worth misery, man. No money has the value of misery to it. None. And I do okay for myself. Am I doing $100,000 jobs all the time? No, but I've done my share of them. It's not like I'm making $100,000, but
right.
Very few people put in $100,000 installs. especially on 1/8 of an acre, somewhere between 1/8 and a quarter.
Right.
But anyway, and he was driving me nuts, and he, he kind of took the jab to fire me in the fact that, well, if we just can't hurry up this process, then I'm not going to do it. And so I said goodbye. I was like, all right, then we're not doing it. And then he got pissed. Oh, he was pissed. And I wasn't gonna have it. He called me, kept calling me. I had the last word, and that ate him up. I never would answer the phone. I was like, no, dude, I told you goodbye. I meant goodbye. I think he was calling my bluff, thinking it would speed me up, because he's throwing all these big dollar bills around, that I would kiss his ass, and I didn't. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah. You're at the last part of the building the stage where you don't. You're good. You're not at the. Yeah, exactly.
That was a huge hit. I'm not gonna lie, it was a huge hit, but
you're not gonna be. It's not gonna make you go back to eating ramen if you don't get that job, though. Is what I'm saying.
Nope. Yeah. I ate steak for lunch today, and I'll continue eating steak for lunch whenever I want to.
Yeah, and that's a great. That kind of jogged my memory real quick. I was doing a job for like a family friend, like this guy. I'll keep his name off here, but this is a guy to where I stayed at his house all the time with his friend. Me and him was his kid. We were like best friends. Stayed at his house all the time. He's the one that taught me how to. The male role model was a friend of mine's dad.
Yeah.
So like I would stay there for months at a time, as a kid, and I'd picked up a job from him. He's like, hey, so and so said that when I was at church, they said that you're doing lawn, landscape, and stuff like that. This a few years back, and I said, yeah. He says, well, I want all them bricks taken up and put some, this done, and put some river rock down. I'm like, all right, cool, easy. I said, here, you treated me really good. I'll do you a solid. I did it real good. Like from like a $1,500 job, I took it. I cut it damn near in half. You know what I mean? Just because my idea was do them a solid, and I can kind of time it as I want. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I got to rush. Then he started rushing me the whole time. Hey, is this gonna, and I was getting there at like 9 a.m. versus like 8 or stuff like that. He's like, hey, are you gonna have this done soon? I'm thinking, dude, I just cut this job in half for you, trying to do a solid. So long story short, it really pissed me off. And that's one thing I learned is like, I'll do favors for people, but I ain't doing those kind of favors for nobody ever again. Even I lost so much respect for. I don't know. How I mean it is.
Well, it's like what I said earlier. It's no amount of money, no matter which way you're going with it, is worth that kind of bullshit. Right. Even if you would have kept your price, you probably would have done the same thing because it sucks. And it's like when I called Michael and I said, that big job, I said, we can scratch it. He go, and the funny thing was, he was like, you know what? He said, I'm going to tell you something. He said, I saw that coming from the beginning.
Yeah.
I was like, really? And I was like, he's like, I can't believe that you even took it, because he knows how well I can read people. And he was like, I kind of saw that guy just being that way. He's like, he's like, the guy is 60 years old and drives a Demon. He's like, I was like, now that you mentioned
what you're talking about?
Yeah, the Dodge Demon. And
okay.
he just kind of had this semi cheesy look to him, but he owns a pretty big corporation,
right?
And so I laughed when Mike said that. I was like, yeah, I probably should have examined that a little more, but he didn't have one. He literally had four door garage under the house. That there was three Dodges, Demons, and three different variations, and and then the last one was a G-Wagon in there.
Yeah.
And anyway, he seemed pretty cool to me in the beginning, but boy, he showed up and Michael's like, I'm glad I'm not installing that shit.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was going to trip out, because we were it would have occupied a large chunk of the summer putting that job in. But what the funny thing is, within probably 3 weeks, the calendar filled up. You know
Right.
what? It was like the same money was on the table. It was just cut up into, 4 different jobs.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
So with your sub that you work with now, he's pretty much like probably he's fine if whenever you go to move on, then isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Funny you say that. We talked, um, what was that, last week before? And he's like, man, he's like, don't do this to me, man. He's like, I know you got to do you, but damn, it's gonna suck because he um he really leans on me for the creative end
Oh yeah.
and things like that. He's like, but what am I gonna? I was like, dude, I was like, I'm easily doing as many designs just for you as I am for me. He's like, I know who's gonna do them. I'm like, you'll find somebody, man. You'll find somebody.
He
And
don't like doing it himself then?
no, he's very business oriented. But he's not creative oriented.
Right.
To a degree. That I guess you could say next level. And he could do the simple stuff, but and I still, like I said, that's where for me, it's the choice. Am I going to sit back and still do some designs um and nurture that property and the income off of it, or am I going to wash?
Yeah,
Because
is
it's
your
going to be
idea to go full let's say 5 years from now, are you full bore just moving up to, the property and w not going
damn
back?
people. The whole thing just switched. Now Jesse's interviewing me.
Well, like,
And no, less than that. 2
less
years maximum.
so you're gonna sell in your house? You're
No,
burning
no, I mean,
you're
we
burning the
won't.
boats?
No, well, it'll be at least 5 years before we are up there. And what the optimum goal is to be here in the cooler months and up there in the summer.
Okay, that makes
Um,
sense. Yeah.
and so, but the
God,
goal is
that's
to keep this house. Um, but anyway, other than that, in a year to 2 years, uh, it's all about that property. And if I decide to quit it all, then I'll quit it all, other than the property. That's where I am. At 55, double nickels, I'm out. Peace. Now there's still a lot of work to do on that property, but I'm literally going to be walking out of my own house because we'll have something up there, um, and or whatever it is we have. I'm walking around that property and do whatever the fuck I want to do. There's no client that's doing anything because we're not catering. We're not going to be catering to any people. It's you take what we're building and what we're doing here, and you can get your wedding coordinator to do it, but we're not going to.
you're gonna have
And
like a fancy
that's how most
Airbnb?
properties do.
You're gonna have like
Yeah,
a fancy Airbnb cabin, something tucked back in there?
we're gonna do like 8 to 10 of them on the around the creeks, and maybe some of them up on the higher peak. Um, just tiny cabins to rent out, nothing fancy. Just because there's a lot of hiking and stuff around there, and so a lot of hikers and stuff, they off grid, they kind of like that, somewhere in between a house and a tent.
Yeah.
But it will. I mean, we've got internet up there and everything else. We'll have power and stuff to a minimum degree. So
That's gonna be awesome.
yeah, it's I'm it, in 2 years from now, I'm walking over and turning on the sawmill or jumping on the skid steer or something because I want to. There's a little bit of have to behind it because it's a task that needs to be done. But I'm hanging out drinking coffee and I'll get to it. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You're gonna be wearing flannels, you're gonna grow your beard out, and
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I'm excited. You're gonna have a bunch of 100 pounds of yeast, copper line, be on the creek banks, you're gonna be making your own shine. It's gonna be you're gonna
I
have a
might sit
thing.
on the back porch and shoot a deer or shoot a bear before I do any of it.
There you go.
It just that's the thing. But flip it back to you. You've gone. You're now holding down, a 40. You do pressure washing. Where if all things that going well, where do you see yourself leaving that 40 and stepping back out there again? And if so, how long down the road is that?
I say, well, here's my goal this year. Hold on 1 second. Kayla.
You're hired, Float.
Mom's got $5 for you. $5. $5. Go work out in there. All right. My goal this year, nothing extreme. I want to make 20 to 25,000 just washing houses. That's kind of gonna be just kind of like, okay, that's working like 3 houses a week at around, what, $300 a house on average. More, some's gonna be more, some's gonna be less. That's kind of my goal this year. If I can get 15, I'll be super happy. So that's gonna tell me that's gonna pay my whatever I need for my next year's marketing is kind of my goal, and I'm gonna push heavy and Facebook mostly, and then door hangers, stuff like that. I want to gauge where I'm at. Jobs are steady, insurance is steady. That's a good thing. But I'd like to be out in 2 years if possible. Maybe 3, and I'm happy to go a little bit longer if you know
No
how it is.
pressure.
But I'm saying about 2 years. Thing
Yeah.
is, the reason I hesitate, it's not because I don't have faith in myself, it's not because I'm not ambitious rather, is I went full into it prior, and it was feast and famine a couple years ago. And I was able to kind of swing it. I was a little bit, hey, you can't go outside. Close the door. You can't go outside. Go. But it was feast and famine, feast and famine, feast and famine. And I'm sick and tired of being feast and famine. I'm not going to struggle anymore through the winter months. And I want to find somewhere to where I don't like paying $300 something dollars. I'm finding better rates on my insurance for my pressure washing, because so many morons is out there blowing siding off to where it's ruined it for people like us that soft wash.
Dude, rates went through the fucking roof.
They're crazy.
Literally. No pun.
They're crazy. They're insane. So, but my goal is to be out in a few years, because I don't see where I'm working at Liebert. There's a lot of stuff's going to Mexico. A lot of stuff's and hey, I can read the writing on the wall. Fine. That's okay, because I'm able to make my own money. I literally just got a text message just right now. Let's see how much you charge. See, so I'm still getting stuff even later at night. Mr. Romas just text too.
Rick?
So I'm just nervous about it because I want to feast and famine. But the way,
Did you say Rick text you?
Yeah, he just texted too.
Tell him to get his ass in here.
I'm sure he's in here somewhere.
He's hiding.
But yeah, I want to be out in 2 years. That's kind of my goal, and I'm kind of working on my own thing. You know what I mean? But if I can make 20 grand this year, which I can, I already know they all got my money. That's the way I look at it. Whenever I was down and out, and whenever I was in active drug use, real heavy, I was able to pull hundreds of dollars out of my ass every day. How did I do that? I don't know. When I first quit my job the first time and went in lawn and landscape, I was like, I looked at everybody the same way that I did when I was an active user. Someone's got my money. I need to go get it. Now,
right.
That fire, that ambition has been throttled back a little bit. And I just I'm slowly letting the chains off to where, all right, these motherfuckers got my money and I got to go get it. And that's where I'm kind of at right now, to where I'm looking at people, looking at neighborhoods. I'm getting comfortable where I'm living at. I'm still kind of new to this area. I've been here for about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah, you and I have that in common,
So,
I mean, that's what brought on pressure washing is the fact that I'm in a new town where I know nobody, and it looked to be a service that I could sell just like that and do it right then if I needed to.
Right.
And
that's my thing. So, but I've been knocking some doors, and it's still early yet. Today was a beautiful day. Had some little tornado warnings going on this morning. But it was gorgeous, beautiful. The other day it was so cold you couldn't, So we're still
it was fucking snowing here Monday morning.
Yeah,
not literally here, but 20 miles inland.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it makes no sense. So I'm thinking about getting houses washed right now. The normal homeowner, they're not thinking about that at all. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm trying to dial and understand. Before, when I was full bore ambition, tunnel tunnel vision, it was okay. I'm thinking about lawn mowing. They're obviously thinking about lawn mowing. No, it ain't that way. So that's where I'm kind of trying to throttle myself. But yeah, I want to make 20 grand this year. Easy. It's an easy goal. Next year, I want to make my income. So I made, I don't know, like 56,000 at the factory. I want to make at least 40. I want to double it, at least 40 next year. That's my
That's
goal.
a good goal. At least you know where your increments are, and
Right.
so
And
that
and
sets
and
you up
that'd
for
be
goals.
well, and that'd be, instead of doing 2 to 3 house washes on average, that'd be, 5 house washes in a week. And that's not hard to do. It's not
Or
hard
you
to do.
just get bigger ticket jobs.
Or I can get bigger ticket jobs. And the thing is, the more I sell, the more I get my name out there. It's just a matter of time. You know what I mean? Because the turnover rate is so, no one trusts the new guy. If you, as a homeowner, let's say you live in a nice neighborhood, and everybody probably hits your house with door hangers or whatever. But the turnover rate. So you're going to go back to the same guy you've fairly been using, or the guy you've seen around. So it's just being in
Yeah,
the
it's true.
industry. Yeah, just being in the industry, it's kind of whatever. So I'm just going to keep hammering the old fashioned marketing, and the new one is the Facebook. I've been paying quite a bit on Facebook ads, not a whole bunch, 10, $20 here and there on a boost and post. And I haven't been selling anything. I've just been showing what I'm doing. Like, hey, this is a house wash that I did last year. Enjoy. And I'll boost that post for
That's
20
how I
bucks.
look at anything that I do like that, whether it's Instagram, which I'm heavy on, or
Right.
anything I pay for, is more of just promotion. If a job comes from it, good. If it doesn't, it's name recognition, man. It's logo recognition. So that when you do roll around, you don't, even though you may be the new guy, all things considered, compared to others, you're not. You see what I'm saying? Because
Right.
there's familiarity. Yeah.
Exactly. And what Float's saying is, I got everything in the bed of my truck right now. I love it. I have a small little 5x8 trailer that's a little bigger than that. But I have a small trailer I thought about using. Now, I really like the simple 12-volt system and a small washer, which I'm gonna get a little bit bigger washer, but I'm not gonna get an 8-gallon for what I'm doing right now. But I love everything working on the bed of a truck. I have a Cricket right behind us, and I'm thinking about just putting my own little temporary vinyl lettering on the side, because the people around, there's not a whole lot of people who do partial wraps and things around me. Like, I'd have to travel like 30 miles. I'm not doing that. I'm not driving 30
Yeah.
miles just for that right now. Not where I'm at right now. But yeah, I want to get my truck with just my phone number, pressure washing, little things like that. I don't know. I've just got a lot going on, but the truck is awesome. Truck's great. Hose reels, just having the hose reels on there. I get random, hey, I talk to a lot of people just by having hose reels on there. Looks fancy, looks professional. Especially with the Flexzilla hose. Looks really nice. Pops.
There you go. Virgil said it pretty good, and it's true, especially when people don't know you. Um, and I had to work through that for the first time in my life at the ripe age of 50 when we moved up here, because like where I grew up, and to be honest, how I grew up, I knew all the people and the right people that I needed to know to the minute that I turned the open sign on. uh, it was like launching a rocket, and never looked back. When we moved up here, and like I said, and my intention then was to stop doing anything an hour to an hour and a half away, where in
Right.
Charleston, where Michael and everything and all that was going on, and he does most of the bigger stuff. I still, to this day, even with the landscape, and I still will go do the smaller jobs fast, because I can't not get my hands dirty.
Right.
Um, and that's another thing I'm hoping the property takes from me is the need to pursue that somewhere.
Oh, if you have
Because
property, you'll get your hands dirty for
yeah,
sure.
but if it's a day job or 2 days, that's where you see me out there doing stuff, and cleanups. Dude, I love to go out there and trim somebody's hedges all day long. That's one of my favorite things to do in the world. And I wouldn't want to do it on a regular basis, but somebody gives me the right yard that's overgrown that you could tell was a beautiful landscape at some point in time. And there's times when I talk myself out of money with that because I'm like, I could renovate this, and once I'm done within 6 months, this place will look immaculate, and I could do that for X amount of dollars, probably few thousand, or yeah, we could rip all this out and start over, and you're looking at 30, 40, 50, depending on where you want to go with this. And I talked myself out of a shit ton of money, but I just I like doing it, man.
Yeah.
It's a palette, and to rejuvenate something. And I really never fell in love with it until we did the renovation work out at Magnolia Gardens, and that was 700 acres of landscaping. Imagine that for a minute, people. 700 acres, a 700-acre landscape.
So that's
That is
crazy.
massive.
How would you? No, yeah, I don't know. My brain
And
don't.
I was pulled in to do a lot of restoration work out there. And that garden was started in the early 1700s.
And it's just a never ending.
And it's there's probably on average, because there's part-time workers that get laid off in the winter time, in the garden and stuff. But there's regularly, I would say, roughly 15 people that are on the do the lawn and garden maintenance out there. And so it's there's a lot going on, but that's
That is
where I fell in love with it, because this garden that was started in the early 1700s, it's the oldest public garden in the United States. And I got to step back. I read books and I looked through illustrations of it. This property has never been outside of the first family that started it. And I was given all these old notes to look back on and see get into the first Drayton's head of what they were trying to accomplish
that's
and restore it from, like you talked earlier about diaries.
right.
If my granddad wrote a diary, I
Journal.
was reading generations of diaries for one garden that's 700 acres and what
That's
their
crazy.
intentions were,
Yeah.
and to recreate that.
Yeah, that's insane.
And I would love the chance to do it again. And where it is a chance for me is my little 100 acres.
It'll take you 5 acres, and what was it like? Just a nice little walkway that people would just like bike ride, or what was the? That's a
Dude,
ton of land.
there are paths everywhere. I mean, there are walking paths, there are bike paths, there's
Was
a
it big
tram path.
hedges and like, or how was the landscape even set up? I can't even. My brain don't work like I can't even imagine that much.
In any way you could imagine. There's ponds everywhere with landscaping around it. There's formal English gardens all around. There's informal gardens. There's woodland gardens where it all looks natural, like it's been there for
Right.
10,000 years. There's specific gardens like camellia gardens, the spring garden, the azalea garden.
Okay, so it's just huge. But yeah, you should do.
Dude,
That
it's
would be awesome to do something like that.
700 acres. Think of, you could do you could do anything with roughly 30 acres. This is 700. And it was overwhelming at first. I was and I was written up in several magazines by it as well. Got interviewed for a few of them.
So that's how
And
you became really associated with high end.
yeah, that was actually, I mean, I was kind of already there. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't struggle in life. And I grew up in a certain way where I was able to know certain people and do certain things right out the gate. But that was like, I mean, I was already on the high dive, and then I got put on, the big, 12-meter board, and from there, and that's where it all took off. And,
Yeah. I like
and
the I like what Virgil's saying though. Obscurity is the worst thing for any business, and that'd be. I'll ask you guys a question. I kind of went with my business name for the small business I have right now. It's just Jesse James Outdoor Services.
Bill.
I don't like it, but it is associated. You know,
What up?
no, you can't reach it.
I got mine. Look, grab it. Grab it.
Say hi.
Grab it.
Hi.
Hello.
They said hello. Get out of here. Go on. Go check on Waylon.
Well, that's right. You got on headphones too.
Go check on Waylon. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Go check on Waylon. He's driving me nuts. He'll be sleeping for too long. But I wanted to, I'm in the middle of thinking, do I want to keep with this just Jesse James Outdoor Service? Keep it, because in my head, I think that people care about names and logos. I don't think they do, honestly.
They want to be able to recognize them, but they don't give a shit what they say, really.
Right. And that's where I'm kind of struggling too, is because I'm thinking, oh, it'd be cool if it was River City Soft Wash. Because that's a cool name. And I don't think it matters. So that's something else I'm struggling with.
It's just needs to be something that's easy to remember, right, so that they can pass your name on without having to think about it too long.
And the thing is, my name's easy to remember. That's the only reason why I went with my name. It's a cool name. So it is what it is.
Well, the name is, it's got rich history to it,
right.
So
yeah, I'm probably just going to stick with it. But on my truck, it's just going to be lettered. I've kind of already wrote out my design. Pressure washing, phone number, logo. I'm not going to have a list of services, I don't think. It's just going to be straight. It's going to be simple.
Simple and to the point. The thing, just come up with a logo that that looks cool and stands out from anybody else's. It's like mine. I use something that is not in any way historically known for pressure washing or for landscaping. Of course, for those that don't know, up until the very beginning of last year, it was two separate businesses, and that got confusing. It was driving me crazy. It was driving my accountant crazy. It was driving Sarah crazy because she does a lot of the back end stuff. And just keeping everything that separate. So it was all put together. And I wanted to keep Whispering Oaks, but because, that's a cool name. And, and it had a very long history, but again, no one in Charleston ever gave a shit what my name was. Everybody knows me. And, but up here, I specifically went with Indigo Home Services and pushed the name. And when you don't know a lot of people, to do a name switch, I felt could have been not a good move. But anyway, less focused on that, but it's the logo. It's a Nautilus shell. You can pull that from aquatics, obviously, and push that towards pressure washing. But the thing is, it's a Nautilus shell is perfection. Because a lot of people ask me, why the Nautilus shell? A lot of my clients. Yeah. And I just look at them and I say perfection.
I never even knew that to even ask that question.
The golden ratio.
Oh, yeah, I never even asked that.
And to be honest, I've learned that has its own selling points, because some people look at me and they go, that's pretty bold. Yeah. And I'll never be perfect, but that's what we're looking for is my answer to them. So it developed its own little thing. That never was the purpose when I did it. I've always been fascinated with the golden ratio and with Nautilus shells and things like that. I'm a huge geometry person. Obviously, you have to have that capability, and like to do design work. But as it came up in conversations, those were the answers that I came up with, and those were the answers that seemed to catch people's attention.
Yeah, I like that. I just wrote that down. I had no idea about any of that perfection, Nautilus shell, any of that. So let me ask you a technical question. The hose that I got, my pressurized hose, it's a little smaller than what I realized when I ordered it off the Amazons. Is that it's 100 foot, but I have a whip line and an extension. But I don't always put the extension on. So about 100 foot. Do you think that could be an issue while I cannot seem to downstream out of that?
No, shouldn't be an issue at all. You should be able to get about 200 feet.
Okay. So it's just the cheap generic downstream injectors I've been buying, because I'm about to just go ahead and buy an Adams injector, a good one, and just, it's $40, but it's just simple principle, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering about that. And I thought about hooking it up to into my hose reel. Like I seen some other guys doing it, but I didn't know if you did it
That's
like
where
that
mine
or
is.
you did it off the hose reel.
Mhm. I've got
Now
the
what?
bypass and the downstream right there.
Right. And the
And
only reason I have stopped with the downstream injectors, obviously, because I got the other system, but it'd be nice. I got all this. I got that motorized ball valve, everything in my Amazon cart, and all of it's pretty cheap. And I'm about to pull the trigger, but I just don't. I don't know. You know what I mean? It just seems because all that stuff's cheap to do. All of it's really cheap to do with your motorized ball valve
yeah,
and all
it's
that
just
stuff.
the thing is you got to be prepared to be able to. Here's the thing with them: it's cheap to build and to work, and what we were talking about earlier, the profit margins are nuts. But you have to be able to replace that system and the whole system at the drop of a hat. That's when you know
Right.
you're at a good place
Right.
because it's like I realized a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, basically a year and a half or 2 years into the pressure washing, I was like, I wouldn't give a shit if I had to replace this whole system twice a month. It wouldn't
Right.
matter to me.
Yeah. As long as you can get the work.
As
And
long
obviously, you didn't have trouble getting the work at all.
and yeah, no, like I said, it didn't go as fast as I wanted it to, but it goes back to that, I needed to keep a finger in what was feeding my ass. Um, and still do, but less of it because as time when we first moved here, Michael and I have been working together for several years. Now it's like, and especially with Zoom and everything, and COVID taught us all these tricks, and Steve Worley did with damn StreamYard and stuff. Michael and
Yeah.
I, we can just FaceTime and solve a problem. I'm hour and a half away. It makes it so damn easy.
What do you think about doing like estimates online or like instant estimates or do you ballpark and then just bill later? Like when you probably don't get a lot of people calling and asking at all, do you?
You mean just for a price?
Yeah, like, hey, I need my house washed. You know, what
I get the people that want to do the estimates um online or through text or in whatever shape, form, or fashion they choose other than visiting the property. But do you listen to do you ever watch Mike Rose podcasts or listen to him?
Dirty Jobs Micro?
Yeah.
No, that
Look
will.
him up on I listen to him through Apple. But the way I heard it used to be like a 10-minute segment on somebody in history. Now it's he can go on for an hour or 2 hours with people on a podcast.
Right.
And this lady that her name slips me right now. I know who she is, and I can't spell her name out. Anyway, she solidified. She's way up there in public relations, media, and psychology. That's where she comes from. Is that part of the world? And she says the funny thing. She says people, no matter how far away we get from social interaction, will always crave it. We are millennia away from that being removed from us, no matter how far we advance in
Can you
in
expand on that a little
electronics.
bit?
What she means is the further away that society moves from itself, the more people are craving it. So by me showing up, I have a huge upper hand over someone that wants to send them an electronic estimate.
Okay. Yes, I agree with that. My only pushback would be time value. If I can drop what obviously you'd want to schedule it. If you said,
But
okay,
that's
I'll
but
be there
that's
right now versus
that's where your skills come in to communicate with people and sell them. It is the fact that, and it's also why people say, well, it takes too much time and money to run around and do that. I'm going to look at, there's certain neighborhoods that people can call me. and I can give them an estimate right there. I don't need to see the house because they're nice neighborhoods, but they're all about the same square footage. There's probably 4 or 5 different designs in the neighborhood, and they really don't take any more time than the next one. And I can look at them and say, yes, $550 for this, this, and this. And if you, and that's fine. But that's a small fraction of my work. The rest of it, they're all custom homes. If you quote that shit online, you gotta be
Right.
you gotta be stupid
Right.
for
Okay.
that reason alone. But the thing is I'm not worried about it taking 20 minutes out of my day, and I don't care if it costs me $50 in gas. I'm quoting $1,000 to $1,500
Right.
pressure washing job that's going to take me
Right.
5 hours.
And I think I'm still in the mindset of $40 lawn mowing, which I need to understand, like, hey, I'm making a lot more money washing houses, so it's worth it for me. Even if I don't get 1, 2, or 3, that fourth house I go check out pays for all my expenses and gases by going and making those running around town and stuff. So yeah, okay, 100%. I 100% agree with that. It's just something I'm still kind of dealing with because
Well, see, it's like that lady I was telling you about earlier. She nailed it. She was like, "There's been many different species in it back in the beginning of time. Many apes that moved forward, or whatever you want to look at it, cavemen that came up and their kind died off. Homo sapiens survived.
yeah,
How and why?
Homo erectus versus Homo sapien. Yeah,
We survived because of our social skills. We weren't the biggest and the baddest out there by far. We were Neanderthal and all that. They were much bigger, badder, and stronger than we could ever imagine being. We survived because we're social. We survive because if you pick on one of us, you take on all of us throughout all of nature. That's what she was talking about with it. And even today, we strive and we want to be social. Even the most antisocial person, to some degree, craves human interaction. They're just very picky about who it may be. And these people that are going down, and especially the ones that are sitting there preaching, oh, just do it over, do it online or through text or through email.
right.
Okay, you're probably getting a bunch of $250 jobs. Great,
Right.
good for you.
Good for you. Yeah,
I'm selling $1,000 job.
right.
I'll take the time to go do that because
And then also find that interest that they're into, that you see the Nova parked out there, or you see whatever.
and then I have their neighbor and then their neighbor and then their neighbor, and that multiplies into different neighborhoods that and on and on and on and carries through, and to where now it's really not a big deal because the odds that I'm going to be in the neighborhood or the community that week is fine. And these people have no problem waiting 3 or 4 days for me to come drive out there and give them an estimate. I don't need
Right.
to be there tomorrow. I don't need to be there today. They'll
Yeah,
wait because these people, they're looking for quality. They're not that you hear online about you need to close them now and sell them now and book it
yeah.
now and get
I fall into a
bullshit.
lot of that stuff sometimes. I get
Bullshit.
I get amped up in that stuff, and I was like, then I have to like settle myself down. Like, okay, they're also selling a course. They're also selling.
The other thing is they sit there and they say that and they sell that point of view that but it backfires on something else they preach. Don't sell on price. You gotta put your prices up. You got to do this. You got to do that. People that are going to spend over $1,000 just for the house or $1,500, somewhere on average is in between them. And some of them, there's some that have gone over 2.
That's good.
There's one in the biggest, baddest neighborhood of them all back here that I do for $675. but it was the first guy in that neighborhood. And I put something out. I can't remember where I even did it now, that the first person to call me in this neighborhood, this is the price you'll get. And I knew it was a deal for anybody in that neighborhood.
Right.
And he called, and I do their yard. He tries to pay me more every year, and I won't let him do it. And I'm like, nope, I told you what I was going to do.
That's really cool. And it kind of reminds me of, thank you. It reminds me of that one book, that Unreasonable Hospitality. Virgil. It reminds me kind of Unreasonable Hospitality of like that restaurant owners that, like, it's in New York. If anybody's ever read Unreasonable Hospitality, I think I listened to it on audiobook. It's just extreme, awesome service, like beyond finding what they're interested in.
And that's what people with money are looking for. It's
right.
about the experience.
The experience. Yeah.
It's the same reason to go where I think where you're going a little bit, or at least a part of it, is the fact they will wait for 3 weeks out on a reservation at a fine dining restaurant. Why? Because they know what they're going to get. Now, if you called them and told them it'd be 3 weeks before their McDonald's hamburger's ready, they'd flip the fuck out, as anyone would. You see where I'm going?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of this, actually, I learned through the hospitality industry. There's a lot of techniques that I learned from my late wife, Lisa. That woman could sell a $900 bottle of wine like it was Coke.
Now, she
grew up in that industry. That girl she crushed it in the hospitality industry, ran mega Michelin star restaurants. And just Google how many Michelin star restaurants there are, period.
Right.
And opened them up and trained the front of the house. She was not back of the house, she was front of the house. And also work the front herself. She's another person that she liked to be in the action. She can't sit back and just watch. And but some of the finest dining that you can ever find is in Charleston. And she ran them all, and the way she approached things, and the way I'd sit back and look, I learned. I was like, oh, the other thing I learned. Go ahead.
How do you apply it to a?
It's more psychology. There's nothing that I was really applying. It's just these things, like I just said, you look back and go, when you're wanting to spend $500, $600, $700 on dinner, it's going to be the best meal ever because Sean Brock is cooking it. And if you don't know who that is, you just don't know food, especially really good, fine food. He's all over Netflix and everything else. And or Gordon Ramsay.
Right.
And I forget where I was going. Anyway,
you know what you're going to pay whenever
you're going to step up and pay. You know what you're going to get. And
so you're not going to call someone from a yard sign and know that, hey, this is good. You're right. Exactly. That's kind of my point. So, right.
No. And but here's the other thing. And for everybody, how many people we still got in here? I can't even tell. Can you tell? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I can't see.
You want to up your game, and you want to up your game in a big way, and you want to get some high ticket sales without going door to door or hanging the door hangers or putting a million Facebook ads out there or Instagram ads or whatever. Put on something nice. If you don't know what nice clothes are, spend $300 or $400. Go do a house wash. Go do 6 yards. Go to a place that sells the very nice clothes. And I don't mean buy the better shit at Target or buy the better shit at Belk. I mean the place where the big dollars shop. And there's usually a shop that's probably less than about 500 square feet. Go in the men's department. You pick out the best shirts you can. You could put on really good jeans below that with a really good leather belt. But pay $300-400 for that shirt and the belt and the shoes. You might be up to $500. Okay. This is the best $500 you'll ever spend, way over any other advertising. Because I can tell you this, people, and not necessarily wealthy, but people that acquire nice things, whether they have to work hard for it or they have $20 million in their bank account, there's one thing that they look at, and they look at very fast to see who you are and where you've been, especially when you're out and about and not necessarily at work. They'll look at your shoes. That's a God-given fact.
Yeah.
Shoes identify who you are. It tells your story very fast. Buy the nice shirt. Buy the nice belt. Buy the nice shoes. Put on some damn really nice jeans or Levi's, whatever with it. That's kind of a cool factor when you do that. If you only have a cheap watch, leave it at home. Don't wear one.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. Now, would you be talking about where if you go door to door on nice neighborhoods, or are you saying go?
I'm not telling you go door to door or anything. This is what I'm telling you to do. Go to these restaurants. Go to the most expensive fucking restaurant that was within 100-mile radius of you. It may be 5 miles away. I don't know where everyone is. Don't go to the table. Don't get a reservation. Around between 3:30 and 4 o'clock, go to the bar. Order a nice drink. Sit there. Start a conversation, especially with the bartender. Go there regularly. You've got these nice shirts, shoes, and belt, and some smell good on. Maybe not too much. God damn it,
Bill. We're looking at you, Bill.
Sit at the bar. Drinks on average, whether it's high shelf or low shelf, they're the same price. Mixed drinks, whether you're in a Michelin star restaurant or you're at the diner down the street. Order a drink. That bartender can become your very best friend very fast. Because you might not strike up a big conversation with the guy that easily looks like they have on a $4,000 suit and just came out of a courtroom, or businessman of some kind that's sitting there. But you'll strike up a conversation with that bartender. That bartender knows what you do for a living. If bartenders like you, they will shout you. They are bigger, badder than any social media ever could be.
Yeah, that's an awesome point. Michaela worked at a pretty nice restaurant here in town. It's your upper middle class restaurant. And I would go there and wait every now and again and have a few beers. And man, I just met a lot of people who had some money, but they went there and drank. They didn't go to a bar and drank it, got your $2 drafts. They went there and drank at a pretty nice upper middle class restaurant. Yeah, the bartender knew everybody.
Go back.
And I felt nice when the bartender was like, "Hey, how you doing? You want your regular whatever?" Whatever.
Bartenders are the ultimate salespeople.
I never even say. Yeah,
there are bartenders out there that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, if not more, because they want to know you, because it's their job to get to know you, to figure out who you are, to like them, to extract more money out of your pocket, and to get a bigger tip at the end of the day. So if you're not talking to these heavy hitters around you yet, if the bartender likes you, they'll talk for you.
You see, Virgil's down here talking. You see what he's saying?
Strippers.
They know everybody too. Okay.
Same could possibly apply. It depends on what kind of quality stripper you're going for there, buddy.
Yeah, he's getting him. I was thinking of who's getting him Lottlers. Who's that? Brian? Who's he the driver?
Yeah. But I beg any of you to go try it, because if you have on the nice shirt, the nice belt, the nice shoes, and you can just carry yourself decently, and if you're walking into that restaurant, guess what happens now? No matter what else happens, unless you're just a dumbass and you say the wrong things, they see you as an equal.
Right. Yeah. That's a
Because it's
brilliant.
not always about the money. You got to be able to play the part, but it's not always about the money. It's about style and class. If you don't have it, get you some. Because if you're as classy as they are and you can carry on a conversation as well as they can, they're going to like you. They're going to buy from you. First, there's always going to be the assholes that go, oh, that's a lowly guy that just owns a pressure wash business or whatever. You don't give a fuck about them because you probably wouldn't be washing their house no matter what anyway. But there's going to be plenty others because they're usually not the people that have they're usually the ones in there wrapped out. Hold on. They're probably balls deep in credit card debt, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That's not who I'd want.
Yeah,
Anyway.
they're in there faking. You're not in there faking. You're just being you in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And those that recognize that and see that you've got some acquired tastes, they'll buy.
That's true. I'm just imagining myself at certain restaurants that I know people go to, and yeah, that's something I'm gonna implement. Maybe not the Michelin restaurant, but I know it's a couple upper scale restaurants right in my area, to where a lot of the people with a little bit of cash, the people I want, that's where they go. And it wouldn't hurt for me to go get a Dr. Pepper on the rocks for float and sit there and have a conversation.
Yeah. And if you don't drink, then don't drink. You can always order appetizers off the menu at the bar. You can order a full meal usually at the bar.
Right.
And I know that because I used to do it all the time with Lisa. And a lot of single guys, you go into these big fancy restaurants, and a lot of the single guys that are just off work and wanting to go eat something before they go home, or maybe they've been home and want to go out, they order at the bar. Plenty of women do it too. Because no one dines alone. You see what I'm saying? But anybody will go to a bar by themselves.
Yeah.
So the single people, or not necessarily a marital status, but the people that are by themselves at that point in time for whatever reason, go to the bar, order a $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 meal, and enjoy it. And if you go there enough, you'll get to know the regulars, and the regulars know. Because trust me, these people they circle around to their places often, a lot more than you think. It's why the restaurants down here, we're there all the time. And not only do I know the people in them and the bartenders, I know the owners very well now too.
Whenever
and a lot of them speak.
Whenever you're selling a job, or we're not really selling as in like they're, I'm trying to close this deal or whatever. What's a way to where you can kind of being quiet, shutting your mouth, but not focusing on your goals for their house, but finding their goals for their home and kind of leading them in a way to where it's what you want, but instead of projecting what you want to do for their house, you want to kind of lead them in a way to where it's kind of hard to explain. You see what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Hold on. Piper, chill out.
Good
You're
luck.
not going to walk on the computer. How to find it out? The easiest way is just ask. Because they're probably going to have some misconception, or not necessarily misconception, but something that they think they want, but they don't need. They need something else. And it's up to you to figure that out, number one. But you're only going to get there by asking questions. It's where education comes in and what you're doing and experience, so that you know where to lead them. It's like, not a lot. There's people that call me from time to time for a house. You're not going to eat the damn chicken wings. No.
Chicken wings.
She's crazy, this cat. But they'll want a house wash, and I'm like, what, your roof looks like a
Right.
a
Perfect.
freaking
Perfect.
mold factory. What do you?
Yeah.
I can clean this house up all day long. It really won't look much better from the curb because, it's a high pitched roof, where there's more presence and more face on that roof than there is on that house, and it's like you need that roof washed. What are you
Well,
talking about?
you're just straight up saying, "Hey, your roof has got some
Yeah.
issues."
Yeah,
Okay.
or it may be the other way around. They want their roof clean, and it's like, why? It's not that bad. You got a couple of streaks on there, but damn, your house is green and it was white. You know, it's just everybody's different, and every situation for that's going to be different. It's kind of you learn every day doing that. Really,
Yeah. It's
um,
kind of getting
there's
out there and
no
figuring it out.
yeah, there's no one way to kind of answer that. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
Mandy.
another thing I'm kind of having, not really having issues, but I'm just kind of preparing for is kind of defending my price versus like pouncing on, not, I don't want to defend my price. I want to be able to walk away versus pouncing, you know, but I don't want to lose
Here's another way to defend it. Sorry, I gotta watch that. It's like you watching the kids. I gotta watch this cat a little bit. She's crazy. But here I'm very bold when I defend prices, or have to defend myself. If I have to go to the position of them asking me to be able to tell them why I'm charging what I'm charging, I'm going to get defensive. But I'm also very bold with my answer. Again, it goes back to this is where knowing something about them can help you.
Right.
And it's like when I'm in the garage, or if I see the garage, or something in their backyard that but we'll stick to the garage for an example. Okay, you go in there and you go in one yard or one house, and there's a 1992 911 SC. I mean, 4. Most people wouldn't know the uniqueness behind that. I do.
Yeah,
And and in today's world, that's a totally different guy than the guy that has the brand new 911 GT3.
yeah, whatever that means.
Totally different spectrums. They both have Porsches. They both have Porsches that are worth $200,000, but they're two very different cars because of two very different personalities.
Okay, I did not know that.
You got to know that personality. And if you don't, guess what? This is when they go, well, God damn, it's $1,500 for the house wash. I was like, did you have that reaction when you chose the Porsche over the Ford Escort? I'll say it to them in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
That usually shuts them the fuck up too. That
Yeah.
usually the next thing I hear is, how far out are you?
That's bold to even say that,
Bold
'cause
as hell.
yeah, that's really bold. But I would, in my head right now, what I'm thinking is, okay, hey, I guess we're not for everybody. Got to meet if I can do anything for you, and be on my way. Normally, I would think, hey, I pay the high rate insurance because other washers are out here tearing up siding and tearing up roofs, but I don't think I'm gonna go that route. When
See,
when that objection happens, go ahead.
I never talk poorly about the competition, because
Right, I
the
don't wanna
last
do
thing
that.
I want to do is for them to recognize that there's competition out there.
Fair. Okay, fair. Yeah, that's something yeah, okay. Okay,
So
yeah.
what I do is I go for their gut. I go for what hurt. It's like, or if you walk inside and art, and you might not know who the artist was, but you can look at it and tell that shit they spent at least $9,000 on the frame for the motherfucker. Same scenario goes down. You're tripping out over $1,500 for a professional to come in here and wash your house right without screwing things up, but you didn't balk at all when you spent God only knows what for that artwork there, and then you didn't even think for a millisecond to spend $9,000 on that frame, but you want to come to me for $1,500 to make sure that everything that literally houses your most valuable assets is cleaned and looks good and representable of everything else you have.
That's can't argue that.
How far out are you?
Yeah. That's bold. Yeah, be bold. All right.
I swear to God, 99% of the time, that's what I hear. How far out are you?
Yeah, because they're probably looking for weakness there anyway. They probably don't even care.
Some may be.
Yeah, probably
Some
don't even
may be.
care to pay it. It's just, oh, if I can get it for cheaper, see where this guy's really at. If he, see if he really knows what he's doing or not.
Yeah.
Wow, that's bold. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'd like to. I'm gonna get there.
It all.
I'm gonna get there.
There's Rick. What's up, man? It all boils down to, you hear this a lot, and it's true, but they leave the door open for problems when they say, go after the job like you don't even want it. That's a great thing to tell people because that's very true. It's what you do after that that's actually going to get you the job or not, though. It's not just having that mindset. It's how to control that mindset and deliver after that. Because I really don't give a shit. And the other thing is if you're going to come at me, it's my personality to come right back at you. Because at the end of the day, that $1,500 is not jack shit to me. It's nothing.
Right.
Even if I wasn't in the position that I'm in. Like I said, I started a business literally with $100 bill in my back pocket.
Right.
And I went out the gate not giving a shit because I'm not going to do crappy work and I'm not going to work for crappy people.
I mean, yeah, there's so many good contractors out there who do excellent work, but they work for crappy people and then they get stuck in this muck and mire and they can't get out of it. Well,
they can't move past it.
I'm not going to. Yeah, that ain't me. That ain't me, Hoss, because what I'm going to let me do is I'm going to let my welding job pay my bills and I'll walk. And I'll be happy to walk. If you don't want to pay me, that's fine.
You're in the perfect position to do it. You're under zero pressure. So if you can't get what you want, fuck them.
Right.
The other my clients, I could send you the most relevant ones. I can send you aged clients from 20 years ago that I still have contact with for one reason or another on a regular basis. I could easily send you 10 people. Every one of them will tell you I'm an asshole. But every one of them love me to death. I
got you, Rick. I'll send you something.
I don't hold any punches back. In a lot of ways, I can see their arguments on things, and if I can see their side of the story, I'll work with it. But if I can't, and there's no reason for me to, or if they want to scoff and hem and haw, fuck them.
Right, it ain't worth it.
Mm-mm. A lot of them go, some of them are really like, well, I just want yellow in my yard. You're not going to get it. I don't like yellow.
Tell me any color you want as long as it's black.
Or it's just, it's knowing the color spectrums and what, if you take it down to landscaping and you put it on the flower end of it, you got to know what things complement each other. And there's a lady in Myrtle Beach. They moved here from California, all kinds of money. We argue. Hell, we did it last week. We fight like cats and dogs at the beginning of every spring, but she's worth it in a way. And because she sees too much shit on Pinterest or here or there. And I'm like, no, you can't have that in your yard. You have zero shade. You cannot have a shade garden.
Yeah.
Now, her answer was, and sometimes this works too, from me being bold, they'll be bold right back. Well, then come put a bunch of damn big trees in my yard. I want a shade garden. Okay, I could do that. But with the fence and pool, I can't get a big enough tree back there where there's going to be shade instantly. Well, how long are we talking? 2 years? Okay, I just don't want to die before I get shade. Okay.
Yeah, you talk about burn something up. Last year, I put that landscape in and washed the house. I probably should have washed the house first, but I was scared of mud. You know how it is. But it was 90 degrees plus no rain or nothing for weeks. You know, it was just a hot season. And after I put this landscape, I said, hey, make sure you water these every day. The daylily. It was just a bunch of, and there were the real
Oh, is that the
fine.
one you did around that patio?
Yes. And they didn't. I said, look, they said, I think the bleach burned out. I said, look, that would have happened way earlier. You're calling me 2 weeks after. I said, what happened is you guys didn't water it and it's burnt up, but it's okay. Just keep watering it. Everything will revive. Don't worry about it. Then they held their Google review until about a month later, the weather starts cooling down. Everything came back because they was like, well, you know, and I was like, hey, whatever. Then all of a sudden I got a 5-star review, but I'm just saying it was like, and I don't blame them for doing that, but I told him, and I even worked with the guy, and he wasn't in charge of nothing. He don't care. It's just, you know, he was just like, "Yeah, hey man, my wife's going to be calling you. She's pretty mad. Just giving you a heads up." God damn, you ain't got my
You know
back
how
or
I
none of
avoid
this.
that? For eons now, I will not put in the first damn thing outside of, maybe a plant here or there somewhere. If they don't have an irrigation system or don't want an irrigation system, I'm not doing any work for them.
That's because you can't because I told them to water it, especially being so new, nothing's been established. Still didn't. What? But it came back, which I knew it would. But God,
Later float.
it made me look like it made me. I still their friends still called me, so they were still not running me down. But the fact
Right.
that I felt like I had that Google review held over my head,
Yeah.
stuff. I was like, I don't like that at all.
And Matt brings up a good point here too. And when you get into a good client list, it doesn't even necessarily have to be people with a bunch of money. It's just people
Right.
that want to spend good money on their landscape and know what it costs. They're never going to ask you the price.
Right.
They may have something to say once you deliver one,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily that they're concerned about the cost. Most of them, they're just, again, maybe looking for a little justification. Not even justification. They maybe say, okay, well, that's all, the shrubs on the foundation are all 15 gallon, not 3 gallon. Yes. It goes there. Later, Bill. Rich, what's up, man? I don't know, man. There's so many different personalities out there. I could come up with a different, many different ways of the way you need to approach people. But again, it's like I said earlier, it's like the guy that, just to keep it on the upper level stuff for, maybe the medium level. It's like there's the guy that, has the rare car, the rare classic that's very expensive, and there's the guy that has the brand new car that's very expensive. There's two different personalities going on there, man. And you gotta recognize that, and you gotta work with it. There's people that it's just like you go into homes now and it's an expensive home, nice home, whatever. Maybe it's a starter home, but it's all very minimalist. There's a personality there. You go to the next house in that neighborhood and it's well done and very pretty, but there's it's very decorated, and there's a lot of pictures on the wall, paintings, and there's a lot of things on tabletops and things like that, and the furniture looks comfortable versus stiff and rigid. There's a personality there. You got to figure out what personality you're working with, because if I go to sell the person that's very ornate and has a lot of things, I try to sell them on the approach of minimalism, we're not going to work out well, and vice versa.
Yeah, there's a neighborhood and it's not like a big. What are you doing? You're hitting the mic. Take the level. There's a neighborhood that it's called Green Valley. It's not like a super high end, but it's old school blue collar, 150,000, maybe 200, about 150,000 a year, but smaller homes. It's just like it was a small Catholic community that grew up, and they blew up this Catholic community huge. So they're all like, "Oh, you're driving me nuts. Come on. Go on. Go level Wayland. Go see how level Wayland is. See? Go see how level Wayland is.
Doing good, Rick, man. Hope y'all are off to a good season this year and everybody's happy and healthy, man. Hope y'all make lots of money
He's
and
driving me
everyone else
nuts.
for that matter.
But yeah, but I was saying it's a small community, between 100 150,000 a year, and I've already got a kind of a price that I don't want to go after. Tight community, but there's a culture there. You know, they all stick together. They're behind a flood wall where the Ohio River runs, and the locks and stuff that run here in Ironton. They're kind of like secluded. You know, where the road. Well, Rick, I know what I'm talking about. Where old 52 runs, where the locks and dams come through Ironton. Like they're really secluded. It was a small Catholic community that blew up. So the culture there, they're all tight with each other. So all you got to do is get in with a few of them. You know what I mean? I work with a few guys. So that's a target neighborhood that I want. And it's not going to be super high end, easy, fast homes, make $300, like bam, 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 because it's all similar stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Once you get, again, it goes back to what I was talking about with going into the restaurants and stuff, or wherever you can go socialize. There's a lot of, you know, plays and gatherings that go on around here with all the money. I go to it all.
Right.
Okay, maybe not all, because some of it I know is just a bunch of stuck up shit that I don't want anything to do with, and I just don't go. But outside of that, if there's, you know,
You go to a lot of them.
if it's just a good time or just to go have a beer or a drink or something to come home, I'll show up. And just just to make sure I'm out there and known and you know, still kicking. And what were you in the hospital for, Rick? I hope everything's okay, man.
Yeah.
You're good now. Okay. Sorry, delayed reaction here. And but there's for you, for anybody else, just hone yourself in on number one, getting the clients that the right clients, whatever they are. Like I said, they don't need to be wealthy. They just need to be willing to spend the money on their
Right.
yard or on their house and know what it costs to do that. Because there are plenty of people in this world that'll drive around and a 20-year-old Ford Escape so that they can write the big check for that landscaping or lawn care or house wash, because that's their freaking priority. They're not a car person. You see, there's another personality there.
Right.
Just even if you have to read some psychology books to be able to start doing this stuff.
Yeah. Do you got any, you got psychology books that you can think of?
Not really.
Okay.
I probably do. I just don't know what any of them are because they were that
Right.
far back. I took psychology and some classes as a minor.
Oh yeah, I wasn't talking about them fancy pants books. I was thinking,
No, but I mean, there's a lot of you know, some philosophy books and stuff that I'll read, but that it really doesn't go down that road. That's more about yourself than it is the next person.
yeah, I thought about starting reading some of the classics over again. Like I just ordered and it isn't here yet, but it's just the Iliad. It's a cool version I've got on Amazon.
It's one of the
Awesome.
best books you could ever read, man.
Right, but it's a cool, like it's like fake leather, but it looks like a fancy book, and it's like $30 on Amazon. I'm waiting for it to come in because the idea is to sit down, and I'm also gonna pick up some Edgar Allan Poe stories and Brother Karamazov. I want to get these different storybooks because obviously my kids are now it's time for me to start reading to them and learning stories and different things. And I'm gonna pick up Dostoevsky's The Idiot. It's my favorite book ever, The Idiot, which clearly where I got my name from.
Right.
But yeah, I'm thinking about touching back base with some of the classics and different things. I'm really looking forward to that this summer. That teaches you a ton. You know, everybody
Yeah,
wants to spend money on these sales books and all these different other books, but the classics have everything you need. Biblical scripture has been great for
The
me,
thing
too.
is everybody now wants to act like you can't do business without modern technology. If that were the fucking truth, then businesses would have never succeeded until modern technology.
Right.
And
Right.
it goes back to what I said about that woman earlier. And I can't remember her name. I know her, and I can't spit her damn name out for some reason. But anyway, go look up micro a dirt
Yeah, I got it wrote down.
on any podcast format, and and it's the latest one. And it all goes back to people craving to be social, and how that works out and how it plays out and how this technology, people want it, but they don't want it, no matter who they are, even your best social media stars, they're not there all the time. They're out doing something else at some point in time. So, um, we still need that interaction and learn how to interact with, like I said, some psychology books or something, or screw the sales, because you got to develop a personality. You got to
Right.
find out who you are. And if
Right.
you're confident in who you are, the rest doesn't matter.
Right. It's all bullshit. Yeah. Okay.
It's
Yeah. That's
all
super true.
bullshit after that. And the thing is don't be out there trying to sell bullshit, because it will come back on you. I don't give a
Right.
shit what anybody else says. It comes back around on you, man.
It came back around on me a few times when I was painting the top of a built garage. Kicked the whole gallon of aluminum paint that 10
I remember that.
kicked it off of roof. What else? I bullshit my way through a couple landscape projects. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was able to reach out to people. So I was faking it, but you're making
There is some truth to fake it till you make it, but you're not exactly faking it. You're sophomoric. In other words, you need some education behind you. It's the experience that you're lacking. That's the definition of a sophomore.
right. Yeah.
Not just your second year in high school or college. Fake it, but know what you're doing and know your limitations. Know the limitations of your clients. If you don't gel well, don't mess with them. Move on. It's like Matt says right here. Honestly, the average Joe treats me better than the high horse guy.
True. Yeah.
Okay, really? Is that really true?
Okay.
Or is it just a personality difference? Is it something that you can change in yourself to where people perceive you differently?
Or because of the limited interaction that myself and maybe Matt has had with wealthier people,
Right.
or people
They
that
could just be standing off.
average Joe, but they could be. There's a guy, I'm gonna say his name, Doug Finnegan. That dude has millions, but you wouldn't know. He went to the same small town rinky-dink bar. He
The Millionaire Next Door. If you haven't read
Dude.
that book, read that one.
Yeah, you couldn't tell. Doug was, and he'd have to get good and buzzed up before he bought the bar around. We're talking about a bar full of 10 people, 8 people, and it's not because it's just you couldn't tell. Blue jeans, overalls, owned a painting business, made his money in rentals, painting business. I mean, great guy, awesome dude, solid dude. And he was able to do, I went to school with this kid. He was able to do with his kids, getting them started in some rentals. And the kid learned business his whole life. So when he grew up, took over a few rentals, he started buying different units. And Zach, his name's Zach, brilliant kid. He's my age. The guy's, but he's seen business his whole life. He knew how to make money, but they're not assholes. They're good people. They're great people.
Yeah.
Great people.
There's a lot of people out there like that. I have quite a few clients that are like that. Certain people you learn to. It goes back to personality. You can talk to them for 5 minutes and know where they stand on that spectrum, on the monetary palace. Because there's a lot of homes that I do that in neighborhood that you go to that's 2,000 square feet, nothing small, nothing big, ranch style house in an average neighborhood. And there's been plenty of times that you learn that this guy's or woman, even in some cases, they're mega money. They just don't need to announce it and on any level. They just want nice shit. It doesn't have to be big and fancy. They just want it nice.
Yeah.
And those are probably the best clients in the world, to be honest with you. And every town has quite a few of them, to be honest with you. And a lot of them, I mean, they're, you know, those are the people that are more prone to jump in and, get dirty with you or something, not that you want them interfering with your project, but I mean, you might be out there installing a landscape or doing their lawn care, to the maximum ability of beautification out there, and they're out there, tinkering with a car in the garage.
Yeah, I used to get aggravated when I had an old guy that would just kind of watch me. But it got to the point to where he's old, his family passed, life happened. And it got to the point to where I was like, I enjoyed kind of like having the conversation and talking instead of me being the weirdo that was just like moaning and kind of like not trying to make eye contact. Whenever I broke that wall and allowed him to be friendly instead of just business, man, he let me like I would do random jobs for him and it didn't matter what I said. Right. It was just okay, sure. Okay, sure. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't blowing his mouth out or nothing like that. But if it's something needed done, he told me to fix it and then tell him what I owed him. And it was simple like that. But I also worked for a lawyer when I was very first getting started. He had a pretty big little firm type thing downtown Mansfield. And he wanted me to, I only did one job for him. I came from a recommendation from a guy that was getting out of the lawn mowing business. He used to mow all his rentals. He's like, I'll start you out by putting a mailbox in for me. I'm like, all right, cool. I go, I get an auger. Just, whatever. It's a decent little auger, Harbor Freight auger. Does good. Pull the mailbox in, do the thing. And he's like, all right, how much I owe you? I said, 125. I felt like that's a fair price. I had to drive 25 minutes away. I charged 125. And he like kind of berated me. He's like, I'm going to send you 1099. And I was like, that's fine. It's totally fine. He was just so used to it. And then he tried to go back and forth. And it was a bad experience. But he was so used to dealing with, he was like a slumlord, to be honest. I was going to say. He was a slumlord. He was a slumlord and he was paying his lawn mowing guys. And I was thinking, well, why did Mr. James why did he not want to mow their grass anymore? When Fletch told me, hey, I'm not doing these accounts no more. Here's this thing. He's a lawyer. He's expecting you to call. All right, cool. Well, why ain't Fletch doing them no more? And I knew the reason is he wasn't making enough money. And then, right. And that's the way it goes. But he did not want to pay me that 125. He struck me a check. Said, I'm going to send you a 1099. Said, no big deal. I don't care. That's fine with me.
You're not eating my chicken wings.
But he never even sent it. So it don't matter. Unless he did, my taxes are screwed up. I don't know. I never got it.
Well, I mean, why would he if it's under $600? It's
right. He was just trying. I think he was just trying to scare me. And I was like, I don't care. That's fine. I said, if you want, I can give you a quote on the few apartment complexes. If you have any more? No, I think I'm gonna keep looking around. I got your card. I'll call you. Okay, fine. Of course, I never heard nothing back. But that was,
And the thing is, there's plenty of those types too. Again,
the thing is, he was a lawyer. He had plenty of money.
There's a lot of cheapskates out there, man. I can't say that I don't run into them, but those are the people that very quickly.
Right.
And I don't waste my time with them. If I figure out that we're not a fit, I'll say something. I'll say it fast. Because again, usually, especially in initial meetings like that I'm not charging anything to come meet you to learn what you want for your landscape, to charge you a bunch of money for the design and the installation. I'm just there to do a meet and greet and figure shit out from there. If I already don't like you, I'm definitely not going to hang out for free.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I thought, he didn't have the equipment to put the mailbox in. Dude, $125 if someone to come in and get it done in 20 minutes. That's a steal, I thought. But it is what it is. We was able to mark it on. Whenever you're doing roof washes, this will be my first year really promoting roof washing. I'm gonna do my roof this weekend sometime to make a little video on it and stuff. What is some kind of like one of the big selling points that you're talking about in your? Is it just the black? Because I look at the black streaks, you can clearly tell when it needs cleaned. Is that kind of what you go with? Like, hey man, we can make this roof pop. All right, look at all these black streaks. It looks horrible, dingy.
Yeah. You're not eating my damn chicken wings. You better stop. Yeah, it's 100% about, for me. It's beautification. It's presentation. And there are times when I'll throw shit out there, especially with a roof, because that can get very expensive.
It's a pretty strong mix. do it. It's
Yeah.
dangerous.
a-
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I'd be like, look, you've got this 6,000 square foot home, across the street from the beach, and XYZ car in the garage and this beautiful landscape, and you want your roof looking like that, really? But um to back that up a little bit, it's usually them that have asked something. Again, I don't.
So like packages, would that lead into package deals like what Mr. Guyman talks
Yeah,
about?
yeah, yeah. Sometimes, if you can't figure somebody, especially if you can't get a grasp on somebody, the best thing to do, especially then, is to offer packages.
I
Go
like that
around,
idea.
gather up that information on anything and everything, no matter what they called you there for, and go. Whoosh. And again, whether you verbally and orally say that price or you just slip them that piece of paper, right then and there is where you shut the fuck up.
Right.
Unless they ask you a question, you say nothing else.
Yeah. I
It's
like
just
the packages idea a lot because,
and it helps. And a lot of people, it helps them recognize some things too that they might not have even just period seen or observed. Because we're all guilty of it, and in anything that we come familiar with, especially our homes or our cars and things that we're in every day, all day. There's, 3 years ago, you might have noticed that there's a minute fucking pea-sized area on the back wall of your dining room where some paint chipped off, and you're like, I need to go get the paintbrush real quick and whoosh, that. 3 years later, it's still there, and you forgot it, or you see it every day, and it's just it doesn't trigger your alarm system anymore.
like a dirty driveway or a dirty sidewalk. You just
Yeah,
don't see it anymore. Yeah.
but if I can show you it's still there and how to fix the problem real fucking quick, they're more apt to jump because they're like, yeah, it's something that I've told myself a million times to do, have the means to do it, and I just keep walking past it.
Let's say on your regular blue collar neighborhoods, kind of neighborhoods I'd like to get into. Let's say there's a house. Well, let's say there is. My plan is to go up to this house and it's going to be good before and after pictures. It's a decent looking house. I kind of want to wash it and it's going to have some peaks. So it's something I want to do. I thought about just going there, knocking on the door, and say, hey, this is my idea. Hey, my name's Jesse. I'm, from the Cold Grove area. Here's my card. I noticed your house is dirty. If you need it done, here's the price on it. Write the price on it. Give me a call and just leave it at that and walk away. I thought about doing that sales rep, but then again, it's like, I don't view it as disrespectful, but I'm still coming to your house unannounced. If you need it, I don't want to be sold. Don't come to me doing cold sales and stuff. But at the same time, it's obviously something that everybody.
It's a way to do a cold sell without doing one. You're just giving them some information. Here you go. See you later.
If you need it done, call me. Here's the price on it. Blah blah blah. Done out there, or not even leave a price.
If you need it done, no matter, in my opinion, you say all that and just say, and here's the prices. And again, make sure that's the last thing you say or the gesture that you make, and shut up.
Right.
Just say, I'll be happy to come do it. I put you on the schedule. I'll talk to you later. I know your time's valuable. Don't want to bother you, but here it is. Bye. And here's the price. And just shut up. Don't walk away real fast. Just let them dictate your next move.
Yeah. Either allow them to say, okay, I appreciate you stopping by. And you'll know when it's time to walk away or time to push for. Yeah. Everybody can feel it, except Kayla. She doesn't know when to hang up the phone.
With landscape designs. The very last page, and if you look around at anything in sales, the very last piece of paper you see is always what? Or the bottom line is always what?
Yeah, it's always money.
It's the price. There's a reason for that. You get to story build. You get to have some dialogue. And if it's something like this, like we've been talking about, it's a get to know you. And here's your price. With me on landscaping, it's a whole presentation. I've spent a lot of money, especially recently, on some software to where I am digitally drawing now. I'm walking away from the paper. It's the hardest thing in the world for me to do, but I found the right program to where it allows me to basically draw on the screen, and it's designed and developed by architects, so it's really top notch shit. And I can scale from anything. I can scale from Google. It takes the measurements, does all the fancy work for me. I can put rulers in place. It has all the the geometrical forms and figurations that I need to create stuff, and templates and things like that. Anyway, I do all that. I print out a sheet of all the plants. Everything is always itemized. Number one, the more that's there, the more someone feels like they're getting. Every plant has its own separate itemized shit, and I do it in everything else too, with the quantity and the and the price each and the total, and that total goes down until the grand total. And we're flipping through that. I tell them about these plants and what they do and how they do. And today I usually don't have to do pictures because of Google. Somebody's right there at their phone or their desktop, whatever, their laptop, it just pops right up.
Yeah, they can pull it up.
And again, it becomes this conversation. It becomes this thing that we're doing. It's almost like being on a date, because you're finding all the cool stuff that you want to do and what they want to do, and they're literally falling in love with what you're bringing to them, hopefully anyway. And so at the end of it is the price. You went through all this, you flip over, you get to the bottom of that thing, and at the end you end. There's the price.
Say no more.
Say no more. Say nothing else. It's their turn. You have, whether it's the 10-minute conversation to give a pressure wash quote, or it's the 45-minute conversation to go through an itemization of a landscape design. No matter how long or how short it is, at the end of the game, you give a price and you shut the hell up.
Yeah, that goes with everything. I agree with that 100%. It's hard to do if you're not completely 100% comfortable with your numbers.
But it's not hard. It's very easy. Cashiers and do it all day long. Have you ever noticed that?
I'd never even thought. Yeah, they don't give a shit. Yeah.
No, they ring it up. You just nailed it. They don't give a shit. You got to act that way too, a little bit, without being overly asinine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you go through this order. What do they do when you order? They repeat your order, right?
Yeah.
They know exactly what you ordered. The total's already in front of them. But they repeat it to you and then tell you the price. Do they say any more after that? No.
Give me your card. Yeah. Give me your money. Let's go. Yeah, that's true. That's actually, that's brilliant. Yeah, and like what Matt said, like, instead of saying if you need, Matt is right. I won't say it in his necessarily words, but when you're ready to have your house washed, call me. When you're ready, not if you need. Little words like that, something I'm gonna do. And
the best sales approach is to act like they've already bought it.
Yeah, I like it.
It's how you're saying things. It's not necessarily what you're saying. It's how you're saying it. I always say, when we go to do this, when we're doing this, I never say if. I never use any of that. Or would you like? I tell them what's happening as if it's already happening in a way.
They can correct you if. Yeah.
I've never been corrected in my life, whether they bought or not. Never been corrected. But the thing is, I'm delivering ownership, and they can't have ownership without me. So if you want to own it, I'm like the air conditioning in your car.
Yeah.
I'm the one that keeps everything calm, cool, and makes it feel good. And I don't come without the package.
Yeah. That's a good point. I like it. I like it a lot.
What's Matt saying?
That's
your problem. Oh, that's what you're talking about a minute ago. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You found it, Ben. Good. But some of us saw that yesterday. Um, anyway, it's yours to do with what you wish, my friend. Well, man, we have been on here for a hot minute. It's been a really good conversation, and it's great catching up with you, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Yep, I
You,
appreciate it.
you're definitely not just welcome in my circle. You're in my circle, man. Um, I wish you the best. I really do. I think. I mean, everyone, 3 years ago was cheering on Jesse because you've got good charisma, man. You've got good intention, and and you've got good positivity. You've got good vibe. Um, you just in some things where you should have gone right, you took a hard left, man, and just
Hard.
nailed the gas to the fucking floorboard.
Yep.
But you recognize that, and I think that's an excellent thing. And you step back and you regrouped, you reorganized, but you still had the entrepreneurial drive, and you needed to let that shine. And you've found a better way to step into it and kind of force yourself to be accountable and slow down.
Yeah.
Because I could never do what you did. There's and it's not that one's better than the other. It's just personality types. I know that if I baby stepped into something, I would burn out. I would go, and walk away from it, or I would walk away from my security at exactly the dead ass wrong minute. Yeah.
Right. I did that
And
once.
screw myself over really good. So the best thing for me and my personality type is completely the opposite. I know that if I jump out there dead ass broke and I've got 3.5 weeks to come up with a car payment, insurance, and rent, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to have my rent, my car payment, and my insurance paid for. And
You're going to make it happen.
I'll make it happen. I do well under pressure.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like it, I always kind of have to put myself there. I always have the self-perception that I don't have enough, that I haven't done enough, and that I don't have enough to do A, B, and C, which is nowhere near truthful to the case. But it's almost, it's an identity that I guess subliminally I know that fuels me. I don't know. And so and it does. It's all it's nothing's ever enough. So and what I'm saying is I always have this I'm broke personality or thing going on to where it fuels me to make sure I capture this and that. But at the same time, I'll tell you to fuck off.
Right. Yeah.
So, and but anyway, man, I wish you all the best. Glad to see you back around. We could probably go on for another 3, 4, 5 hours.
Yes.
And the world would be just fine. And everyone in the chat, thank you for coming in tonight. I greatly appreciate it. It's always nice to see all of you. Great to see you, Rick. Glad, not glad you're in the hospital, but glad that you're healthy and back at it. And I hope you and the boys are doing well out there. Virgil, Matt, I see and talk to y'all's dumbasses all the time. KH, the hottie in the house tonight, the hottie of the evening. Rich, who else is? I'm sure there's 11 people. There's, I'm sure there's a couple of people recording this, but that's only because they wish they could be us. Worley, if you're still around, peace, man. See all y'all. Y'all have a really good night. Hope you have a really good weekend. I'm going to the property, going to go chill out. Actually, we're going to start the garden and start planting a bunch of shit. But anyway, y'all have a good one. See y'all next Thursday. Not sure who it is, but we'll see you then.
Bye.
Later.